Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So look, y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal, and haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't want to be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they want to compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I am addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment, they call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rains. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. I got no, let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I want to do?
Don't stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm
Keep that going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. Feeling to be your dog, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars, and I'm going places. Better tell a Uber, cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. That's whew. Let's do that again. Hear ye, man. Welcome to the show. If you would not mind, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get comfortable, grab a snack, do all that good stuff that we need to do, and we're about to get started. It's not important who I am. What's important is that you are pulling up to the Iron Lords podcast right now as we speak, and I guess I'm here to keep you entertained until it's time to get this show started. So look, y'all done messed up and turned me to an animal, and haters be swearing they real, but come to find out that they really mechanical. And yeah, I be eating these rappers, but that's all a part of me being a cannibal. And they say I'm better than money because you can bank on me being accountable. I know a million rappers that don't want to be on a song with me, that's understandable. I kill a beat and they want to compare me to Freddie and Jason. I'd rather be Hannibal. They be like, why use a video game? Just be original, y'all too dramatical. I know it's random, but I am addicted to flipping the sample and making it flammable. This is that yoga, fire, flame. They think it's arson up in the apartment, they call it department and I get the blame. Still I be running, collecting them rains. You just a target when I'm in the range. I was the hardest to start regardless back when you was messaging people on AIM. Check my vocals, all on Twitter, but I'm anti-social. Love my city, but I'm still bi-coastal. I got no, let's switch that up.
What is you doing?
What I want to do?
Don't stop. Nah, that was dope.
I'm
Keep
just
that going. Keep that going. Nah, go ahead.
Look, I guess you could say that I'm very spoiled. Feeling to be your dog, they ain't very loyal. But I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't here to boil you. You ain't gotta say it, I'm embarrassed for you. Always been a nerd, never been a loser. Making Voltron with a gang of cougars, and I'm going places. Better tell a Uber, cause it's pretty hard to sleep on Freddy Krueger. That's whew. I'ma just chill and watch them and eat snacks in the attic. I wanted to chill with the pack and be like a young whoop, but then they would mistake me for addict. If I can imagine it's cool to give you some advice, then invite your girl to your squadron. Cause if you don't give her that option, you gon' be single player like Sovereign. You gon' get tossed in the bushes by King David. Royalty and not a pretender. Detrimental to an elemental, what's an avatar to a knee bender? I gotta be me though. I know it's my destiny, word to Cognito. Who cares if you fly, if you still a mosquito? You swear you ain't stuntin', but really be Steve-O. You like to collect stuff and that's cool, but I got bad news. tattoos. Even if you really was that dude, King David still be the king of the statues. Since a juvenile, I've been cursed with a curse to be musical. And if you hate it, we'll meet in the crucible. Other than that, then it's cool and it's beautiful. We let you know that your dreams are pursuable. Whatever you want to do, then it's doable. If you got work on a Sunday, it's suitable. Cause you can listen to this in your cubicle on the Lord's Day. Woo. If you got work on a Sunday, it's suitable. Cause you can listen to this in your cubicle on the Lord's Day.
Mike's all right, testing, 1, 2, mic check, and all of that.
King will be here. Don't be putting in the chat. Where's King?
The other guys podcast.
I know people is right now in the chat about to tweet about to comment that.
we put the square down to 3. I'm just joking. Anyway, all right. Here
Watch King's groupies cry.
Oh yeah, you already know. And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords Podcast LLC, and also on lordsofgaming.net, episode number 277. It's another glorious Sunday. We're back at the round table on the Lord's Day. And today we've got the Series S holding back the generation. Bayonetta 3 controversy continues. UKCMA asked for public opinion and XboxMobileStore to discuss, so we're going to get right into it. So let's introduce the four. Oh, we ain't got, okay. The 3 horsemen of gaming. This original gaming nights in a row while we win.
In a mutiny.
Yeah, listen, man. We got tired King China.
We got tired King. Yeah, King and the Lord.
King, you know what? We have this new
like,
thing now.
Look,
We have this new thing now. Before King could come in the room, he had to say 5 positive things about PlayStation. This week he couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. And that's in the contract, man. Like, we try to get these PlayStation game reviews. I'm just joking. Anyway, my co-host with the co-host, my brother from another mother, the difficult game conqueror, Lord of his own. I'm laughing right now. The chat is killing me right now. Look, he coming. Relax. Lord of his own world and the how of the young wolf. My man, Lord Addict. How we doing, sir?
You triggered my trap card.
Yeah, doing pretty good, man. I have been playing some Persona 5 on Xbox. You know what's funny? I was in a chat with Smooth yesterday, and he was like, "Well, I'm about to go live," and he's like, "What do you think I should name the title?" I was like, "Well, they've been on you crazy over this Persona tweets." I was like, "You need to put something fanboyish crazy in that chat."
Lord.
And he's like, "What?" So I convinced him to put what was it? It was like. Man, let me look it real quick. Oh, here, let me read. Persona 5 Royale plays best only on Xbox.
Oh Lord, here y'all go.
It was funny though, man. It was funny. He got a lot of people in there. Yeah, it's nice to play Persona, man. Especially on the platform. What's funny is I did stream it on the IOP channel. And there was people in the chat I've never seen. So there's people looking up streams on YouTube for Persona, because there was people in there I have never seen in the chat ever.
That's interesting. Yeah, man.
And I think the streaming thing's getting bigger on YouTube. I think they're pushing it more because there was people going on that I looked at.
Render the chat said King is late because he is currently being held back by Series S hardware.
Hilarious. Continue.
But it was nice, man. It's nice that Persona. So I've said Persona 5's on the platform. We just got to see what Persona 6 shows.
No
so
doubt.
yeah,
It'll be a big deal. It'll be a big deal whether or not it happens. We shall see. Anything else you've been playing, sir?
Persona 5 mainly. People kept asking me, did I finish scoring? No, I did not finish scoring.
Oh,
and I think I dropped it the moment the show that stream.
Oh damn! You was over. You was over.
He's no more dripping Fali for him.
Technically, I had like a little just chatting session at the end of the scoring stream. So I dropped it during the stream. So it's just like, look, we didn't really talk about it last week. I know that we said we were going to mention it, but we didn't really. Look, Scorn has amazing atmosphere, and I think that if it would have been done correctly, it could have been something special. Like it's like I've said a couple times, Scorn has some of the best atmosphere I've ever seen in a game. Like they really get you immersed in this world. It's creepy. They have a lot of like weird noises, and you put your fingers in places it didn't look like it belongs in.
A lot of squelching noises. Like that's gross.
So with all that going, I feel like the game does really well in doing that. But people sit there and say, "Addict," the reason they don't do the story thing, they want you to find the story. I'm not doing their job. It's their job to sell me a story. It's not my job to find the story.
I feel that.
And it's like I used this analogy last week. It's like equivalent to playing Dead Space, because I honestly feel like if they would have actually built Scorn like around the immersive and not really like, because I think the game's too much like shock value at this point.
Got you.
Like,
so you think
it's
they're
like,
getting off the atmosphere of the game as opposed to executing like a really thought out story?
Yeah, so I feel like if they would have, like the foundation of Scorn would have been the atmosphere and the immersion and the lore and the building that they're doing, and they build everything around it, it would be just as good as something like Dead Space.
Okay.
But the problem is, it's like Dead Space does that, and it also has an enticing story that is told well.
Right.
Like it's equivalent. It's like I said this last week. It's equivalent at the beginning of Dead Space. For those of you that's played it, you go to the ship because your girlfriend's missing. She sends you like this video saying stuff's going wrong. You go there to find out what happened with these Marines. It's equivalent to being dropped off at that ship with no Marine conversation. Your girlfriend hasn't said anything. You just, we're here.
We're here. Like there's no context. Like, nah, I got you. Yeah, from what I hear too is it's like maybe this sets up.
Someone said Scorn cured my hair loss.
Oh, they wild. Somebody said Scorn is moist.
Very moist.
Yeah.
Very moist.
So basically, but do you think like the foundation is there for like a good sequel? Do you think that?
This is their first game too.
Interesting.
So I think it's one hell of a first game.
Okay.
Like, but as far as they need people in there to write a story, they need people in there to. They got such a unique world, and there's no lore to it really.
Okay, no fair.
And then people are like, "Well, addicts, it's what you find." No, I didn't like it in Bloodborne. I didn't like it in Elden Ring. I want the story told to me through the narrative. I don't want to go look up runes, go to another website. Look, you know what annoys me? There's people that make a living off telling lore on From Software games on YouTube. Ooh. When you have to leave the PlayStation and Xbox to bring up YouTube to find out who you just killed.
Are you implying that the story is not intrinsically in the game of Souls fans? You got to be careful. That's the Souls.
No, it's just people with magnifying glasses make fantastic videos to explain it better than From Software explains it.
No doubt.
But that's the art, Addict. That's you know that.
It's outdated art, man.
Anyway, and of course we have our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience, and also the Sostradamus, the Lord of Clarity and Lord Painshard of the Iron Bank, my man, Lord Sovereign. How we doing, sir?
I'm all right, doing a little bit better. Still hacking up a lung every now and again, but still, I'm getting there. But all right, I'm doing good. Glad to be back.
No doubt.
What are we doing? I have to think about what I'm doing because I'm not doing much.
No, I understand.
No gaming to speak of. Haven't played Plague Tale, which is breaking my heart because I love Plague Tale. That's it. I love that game. So I was very excited when they got announced, and I'm hearing great things. So I'm excited to play it when I can. I have Gotham Knights installed. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You spent money on Gotham Knights?
Of course, I spend. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and berate a game without playing it myself.
Wait for Game Pass?
You see, here's the difference. I have no problem back talking a game I ain't played. No problem whatsoever. I'm all about the secondhand information.
I gotta try for myself. No. I mean, I guess I'm a Batman dude, so I have to see what this is. Plus, I was always that dude that did not understand the backlash that Origins got. Like Origins was a very good game, and it just got thrown on the bus. Actually, I was debating this last night with Kai. Mm-hmm. I had totally forgotten. Shout out to him. I forgot that Origins launched poorly, like in terms of technical issues. Like it was really broken.
There's a lot of the PC though. I didn't really have too many people issues with that.
Well, he actually pulled the receipts. He pulled the receipts about game breaking bugs.
Oh, Kyle don't play. Kyle, if he had a bad time or experience, he's gonna have the articles and the receipts ready to go.
He pulled the receipts.
Maybe I'm
on
thinking
that.
About Nights.
Well, no, it was both. It was across the board. It was just bad. It wasn't as bad as
one
Nights
of them was
overall.
really bad on PC and not console.
Well, so both of them were bad. Nights was the one that was horrible, like unplayable. And Origins was just buggy. And then on the console side, that coupled with the console side of it made the launch kind of, it wasn't what it should have been. In addition to, this isn't Rocksteady. This is some other team. Right. And all of that together made it so that game just got a bad rep. And I never quite understood it. Usually when people get over the technical stuff, you see the game for what it is, but it kind of always stuck like, hey, it's not as good as the other ones. I beg to differ. I think it's kind of on par, but whatever. But I was hoping for W Montreal to use this opportunity to take the reins of this type of Batman game. You already know that Rocksteady's doing something different, right? With Suicide Squad. Take the reins, take the learnings from all the Arkham games, your own game, and make the next iteration of that type of game. And it feels like they haven't done that. And that's disappointing. I'll see for myself when I actually play it.
Okay.
What else? I saw Black Adam yesterday, right?
Yeah, I wish I missed out. I apologize.
I need to go watch it.
I was under the ropes.
I enjoyed it. Another one, it's getting hate. Like it's the worst thing ever.
I've been seeing more positivity than negative.
I'm hearing the disparity between the critical reviews versus, the people's
critics.
review. Like the critics versus the people's is such a disparity.
Okay.
And I'm seeing that the people are like, yo, what are you talking about, critics? Like, this is fire.
I feel like that happens a lot because critics always review it in the genre it is, and people tend to watch a movie based on the merits of that movie and not, look what Marvel's doing over there. And I feel like when a critic watches something, they're comparing it to their brethren, like people in that genre.
Yeah, but even then it's still weird because I look at it. My gripes with the movie is that I felt it could have been 20, maybe even 30 minutes longer to give me more exposition about no spoilers here, but like the movie starts out with like a narrator telling you the backstory of how Black Adam came to be, right?
So this isn't like an Origins? He has his powers?
Well, they do it very quickly at the start of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Right?
That's how it should be.
I don't like that, man. When you're introducing him like that, when you're introducing him for the first time.
I guess since he's never had his own movie, but if I see one more Spider-Man Origins, I'm gonna pull my hair out.
Yeah, but how many times have they done the Spider-Man Origin?
Yeah.
He needs. I would have liked to, because they did it right, but they did it with a narrator, and they kind of sped through it, right? Rather than give me 20 minutes with this character and show me exactly what happens and why it's important, right? Same thing with the Justice Society, right? You've seen the commercials with Hawkman or whatever. If they would have given me a little more exposition with them, like before they meet up with Black Adam, whatever happens, like show me why they are the team that they are. Show me why those relationships are the way that they are. It would have hit a little bit better for me.
Gotcha.
Even better. But in terms of the action, it was there. It just felt rushed. It felt like they were trying to rush through everything. But in terms of the acting, the little side comedic stuff, the Rock sort of stoicism mixed in with sarcasm and sort of like seriousness and a little bit of Rock comedy, but not what you'd expect. Everything worked for me. It just flew too fast, and I wasn't a big fan of the villain per se. But apart from that, like when I started seeing fives and stuff, it's like, what's the worst thing ever?
Yeah, critics were going.
Have y'all seen Fantastic Four? Rise
of the Silver Surfer to go.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the other one. That was bad. So I don't understand that the hate from the critic side of it. I enjoyed it. I wish, hopefully, there's maybe a director's cut with a little more in it later on. But I liked it. I thought it was good.
No doubt. And you already know the Incredible Hulk should be on his way, so relax. But you still got me, the ninja.
He's coming.
The Shinobi, you know what I'm saying? Back fresh off that Ireland trip. Little jet lagged, y'all. Little time zone, y'all. I'm hurting, man. I can't even get my own intro right. Like I am under the rope. Let me first off, I gotta come at some people real quick. Wasn't get a chance to play by my Series S for like majority of these flights. United Airlines, we gotta talk.
No outlets.
We gotta talk about your outlet situation. First of all, to run the Series S, you need about 100 watts on the outlet. And I checked, it says 100 watts. You know what I'm saying? Everything looks fine. Plug it in. I got the up screen, got the joint. Won't power up. So I'm like, all right. So I've been forced to Steam Deck. Then when I got to the hotel, the internet situation really wasn't the greatest. So I couldn't do no Xbox. I'm like, ah. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. But I had one time before this, I did a flight like more than 6 hours or so at American Airlines. And American lit. Like, yo, plugged in the Series S, little man rocking, playing all my games, doing what I got to do. So, yeah, man, United Airlines, yo, if you don't get your outlet situation together, I'm literally not, and I like United. That's the crazy. Like, I usually don't have too many issues. So it's like, now I'm like, nah, fam, I can't be doing 6+ hours, and it ain't no situation.
So you plugged in, it was just nothing.
Bro, it acknowledges that powers it, because usually there's a green light on
right.
these these plugs. As soon as you plug it in, the green light go off as if I've exceeded. So basically what they have not put the wattage to the max of the 100 that it's allotted.
It's right. It's just that's the max that it's allotted.
Yeah. So
it doesn't accept that.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's been that. But anyway, as far as me, shout out to the Fighting Duke, shout out for Maddie, shout out to Ben Smith holding me down. The Fighting Duke was lit, and shout out to I believe Hogue, who pulled up for Ultimate. They did a good one. So shout out to Maddie. I'll be back, Maddie. We get right back in the mix.
Yeah, they killed it. They said Ben said that you were in Ireland infecting his people with the Zuck juice.
Sucking it. They saying I'm low. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me turn my joint up a little bit. They're saying COG is low. Hold on, let's do that a little bit. Get my level up a little bit. But yeah, so you know that, and then shout out to my people. Shout out to Ibata. Shout out to Travis holding me down. You know what I'm saying? They had did the last word. A lot of stuff going on. Festival Lost. I got to catch up, see what's going on there. But as far as me, being that I've been Steam Deck exclusive, I've been playing a particular game finally. Now that it came over to PC Game Pass, Death Stranding.
Oh, okay.
A lot of hours in Death Stranding. Death Stranding, I need you to come to the front of the congregation. We got to talk. Death Stranding. All right, now
what's going on?
Here's the thing. So remember, the thing about this game. First of all, let's get to it. It's a beautiful game, right? Mm-hmm. Graphically, it's hashtag just one energy. The cinematics are gorgeous. You know, Norman Reedus. You know, they got your man Guillermo del Toro. You know, it's a beautiful looking game. I will not discount that. You know what I'm saying? Steam Deck, get your frame rate together, though. Steam Deck, get your frame rate together. You'll be fluctuating from 30, then 60. It's all over the place sometimes.
So you were clouding it, right? Cloud.
No. I Steam Decked it once I could. I played cloud initially, and I was fine. But then when I got on the flight, I can't do cloud.
So you have the downloaded version from Steam, right?
From Steam. Okay. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, all right, Decima Engine, fire, can't front. You know, cinematics, okay, I'm getting into it, Dark World, okay, what's going on? And it reminded me of, if this wasn't anybody named Hideo Kojima, could they get away with this? Could they get away? And the reason why I say this is some of the story to me so far, and I'm like maybe 4 or 5 chapters in, is so nonsensical to me. Like, it's so ridiculous to me. It's, you know, we got to get the packages and we got to save the world. You're a glorified FedEx agent.
That's what it
like,
is.
You're literally, it's the gameplay loop is, yo, on the right side, you got a bag. You got 4 things on your back. Make sure you even when you walk in and balance yourself. Hold your chest together so you don't fall over with the bag. Like, I'm literally in one biome going through and delivering and picking up random packages on the ground. Then the thing is, he had the moment again where again, I love his games. He does think out the box, which is part of his genius. But the part that gets me is, remember when Metal Gear Solid 2, where he lost me, right? That was the game when Raiden was introduced. I remember people were like very upset. I wasn't even really upset when Raiden was introduced. Where he lost me is the fake deepness. It's the fake deepness, bro.
It's basic concept.
It's basic concept. It's literally deliver packages. The world got this, and the BB with the BT, and I'm like, what is this baby thing? Like, what is we got to connect to babies in a jar, and
why does the dude have to be named Die Hard Man?
Die Hard Man. Then why he got a mask in the room with the president? Like, what's going? Like, it's just.
It's weird for the sake of being weird.
Deepness for no reason. Like that it just
That's BG's favorite phrase. Kojima has so much fake deepness.
Is it garbage? Now here's the thing. It's not whack. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still find myself
talking too positive.
I still haven't found myself not wanting to play and see where it goes. I will admit that there is something to the loop that is making me still like, all right, where this going to go? But there's just certain parts where I start to get into it. And then the story, it's the lalu moments. And they start talking about all this extra stuff. And I'm like, bro, it's not that deep. Just tell me what to do, and that's it. And that's the part that gets me. And it's a shame because graphically the game's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And maybe as it goes on deeper, the fake deepness gets unraveled and you really get to it. But right now...
But what happens is this. The fake deepness gets unraveled and you realize how shallow that pool really is. And it's like, really?
Bro, like... he got Facebook likes in the game. Like, they literally got, you rated it. Like, they rate your deliveries. They be like, you did your thing on that one. You didn't drop your packages, and it didn't hit the floor. And I'm like, this is the gameplay loop.
It's like they acting like they have a commission in an apocalypse rating your. Like, they should be happy they're just getting it. Like, they gotta rate it.
The funnest part I will say is, constructing little watchtowers and stuff in the field. You get the little. I understand this. Now I will say this: him with Cloud could be scary,
right?
Because
no, you're right.
I see how other players left their stuff in the world. They create little bridges for you and stuff like that. So Kojima with Cloud tech could be a beautiful thing. Like, because they literally got Facebook systems in there, integrations and things like that, and I'm curious to see what he does with it. But and I will say the stealth was kind of cool. You got the little thing and you got the little rope, you know what I'm saying? You get behind and choke them up, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. But it's literally it's FedEx versus DHL. There's other porters trying to stop you from delivering, and I'm like, this is literally UPS versus FedEx beef in a game. With a post-apocalyptic feel. So look, shout out to him. I know a lot of people swear by this game. It's just look, man. It's just a little fake deep for me. And if they just cut around all that other extra stuff and just get to it, I'm fine. Okay.
Yeah, we might as well give him the bad news right now.
What?
Check your messages.
Oh man, what's going on?
King has called out.
The call out. Okay, hold on.
The call out.
Just tell me because it's cool. Yeah, shout to him.
Shout out to King. I guess he can't make it. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. He cannot make it.
Nah, that's cool. Shout out to the King. We got things going on. You know what I'm saying?
We got it. He never calls out.
He never call out. So you know he's not doing it. So hopefully they said cancel the podcast.
We hate y'all. Get
it. No doubt. But that's been it for me.
I'm gonna reach out to a replacement.
No, I got stuff on deck too. Don't worry about it. But so that's been that. And I was gonna say, Saul, we got any super chats? Anything we need to take?
Yeah, let's get these super chats out of the way. Starting off with Flame, member for 2 years, $2 per chat. Is this the Iron Lords podcast? Howdy, y'all. Yes, it is, Flame. Thank you very much. Then we got Don Taku, $2 super chat. It was a coup. They finally overthrew the king.
You had to get him out.
Got him out of there. Too much love for king. We can't have that. Then we got Hard to Find member for 18 months. Lord Bronze, thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers. Cog, let's get our Super Bowl tickets now. Niners winning it all. Love.
Listen, I'm excited. I mean, I just got to see, because as much as I love the move, he does get hurt a lot. So we got to see how Christian McCaffrey do. So, but I'm excited. We'll see what happens. And to me, it's always about Jimmy G.
Let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, exactly. Let's relax. Let's get...
as a Yankee fan, let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
I saw that.
Wavy Kosher. Let's put the crest in the chat for Wavy Kosher.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Then we have welcome to LeBron Donald Taku, $5 super chat. 5 days until game of the year. Fake controversy or not, Bayonetta 3 is sweeping the rest of the year, including Ragnarok. Very confident is Donald Taku.
Very confident.
We got Flame once again. 2 years. Remember, 2 years, $2 super chat. Cog, they know the Series S holds back the plane.
Speaking of which, look who joins us.
We got Wavy Kosher once again, member for 2 months, Lord Bronze. Shout out to the Lords and the Realm. Love the chemistry between y'all. It's uncanny. Sundays are just better with ILP. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
I appreciate it, no doubt. Salute.
Then we got put the crest in the chat for Pecan Fusion. Shout out to you, sir. Appreciate that.
No doubt. Salute.
Then we have the homie Hargeet Shani, $5 super chat. Wait, the king and those other dudes. Hold on, you're in the way. You're in the way, Cog. Your face is in the way. Wait, the king and those other dudes podcast won't have king joke. Salute to the remaining lords. Thank you, Hargeet. We appreciate the support.
Salute.
The other dudes appreciate.
The other dudes appreciate you, man. Thanks for showing up. No doubt.
Let's see what else we got. That's it. We're covered.
All right, no doubt. Flame, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me? Mic check. You muted on Zoom. Let's make sure you good.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Flame is in the building.
Flame is in the building.
Indeed,
Salute.
I was poking around the chat, just biding my time.
No, waiting for you to pounce on your opportunity, man.
Flame, where's King? What have you done with King Flame? What have you done with
Don't look at me. Don't look at that blacked out window. Don't look at that, okay?
No doubt. Tell your level up just a little bit, and we'll be good to go. So let's get into this poll. Last week's poll was also in, and the people have spoken to the question with the latest controversy regarding Bayonetta's voice actress' wages and calls for a boycott. Where do you stand in relation to buying Bayonetta 3? The winner of the three-way ILP poll at 46% of the vote was the Messy Lords. I don't care. We need to all stand against the real issue plaguing the industry. These 30 frames per second next generation games. Coming in at second place at 38% of the vote was gamers should not feel socially pressured to penalize the remaining members of the dev team and still enjoy the game group. And in last place at 14% of the vote was gamers need to take a unified stand against unfair wages given to underappreciated talents in the games industry. Lord Addict, how do your thoughts? The people went the other way with this. They're talking about another subject other than the Bayonetta one. But what's your thoughts on this, man?
I'm going to save a lot of my thoughts for the actual topic.
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
And that's it. All right.
You don't get anything else.
Yeah, get that else for that. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. So look, let's get into it, man. We got a lot to discuss. I think
I do want to say something real quick.
What's up?
It's funny that I was reading comments of last week's show, and people was like, it was too short, and I'm like, okay, so we do 2.5 hours, which is what people normally, which is above what normal podcasts normally do. And that's too short. Like,
I'm sorry, we got y'all spoiled. I'm sorry, but that's just the case.
It is what it is. People want more. That's how
people want more, and I appreciate that. But
you.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the biggest podcast in the world doing an hour, and they do an hour, and they're like, "Oh, we're running late. Time to go."
No doubt. So let's get into this, y'all. A lot to discuss. This has been a hot one, and I believe, Lord Saab, this is you, right? You are up. Series S, what's going on? I'm hearing potatoes. I'm hearing generation talk. What's happening?
So all of this conversation stemmed from the when WB Montreal came out and said that Gotham Knights would not run at higher than 30 frames per second on consoles. And the reason for that was that for them, the co-op that they built into the game was just untethered essentially allowed 2 players, I don't know if it's anything beyond the 2 players, to play in the same world together, but not be remotely even tethered to one another, meaning they can be doing distinct different things in different parts of the world. And for that reason, they could not hit a 60 FPS or beyond 30 FPS on consoles. The conversation on Twitter went where everyone expected it to go. And then a dev that works at Rocksteady interjected with his sort of take on why this is happening. But one of the things that he said really started kind of an S-storm on Twitter, indicating, and he's spoken to this effect in the past as well, indicating that the Series S is the reason why these baseline sort of cuts have to be made to gain. Little man is to blame.
Oh no!
And that started, like I said, an S-storm on Twitter, debating whether that is actually the truth or it's just whatever other developmental things that caused the game not to be able to run at that, or decisions that were made during the development of the game, which, prevent it from hitting that 60 FPS, which frankly, since we've started this generation, they've accustomed gamers to. The console gamers who were accustomed to 30 FPS, sometimes sub 30 FPS in the past, are now accustomed to at least having the option to go lower resolution in favor of performance or higher resolution in favor of a locked 30, right? Most games now give us at least that option. And I think a lot of people, after playing games at 60 FPS, will tell you that smoothness, when you go back to 30 a smooth 30 looks choppy initially after coming back from 60. So, you just accustom gamers to those options, period. So the fact that this was not the case with this game, in a game that many people just looking at it outwardly say it doesn't look like it's anything special graphic or anything like that. Why is it doing this? So this was a whole big thing. And then obviously the conversation around the Series S has gone all different places, where some people are agreeing. Some people are saying, no, that it's BS. That's a BS argument because of the scalability of inherent to game making. So what do you guys think? Because I know where I stand on this. I'll go last.
Okay,
on this.
you're aching this bad boy. This is a hot one. This one is breaking up the internet. You know what I mean? Everybody got something to say. Let's start with Flame, LordCognito's own. Joining the building. Like, what are your thoughts? You're seeing developers like Saul were talking about, allegedly saying that the Series S holding the generation back.
Allegedly, yeah. By the way, is my audio good now?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, good. Well, first of all, that one developer, I don't want to write off his work because he's literally just a character artist. He doesn't really work in level design or engineering, so it's really hard to take him as where you might hear stuff from other developers, but I don't want to lend a lot of credence to that. It's probably just just objection, hearsay, that kind of stuff. I don't buy it for a minute because
spicy Flame. Okay,
it's just okay. They have the whole untethered co-op thing, right? Okay, that's fine. But think about the people that are only going to play this co-op. You're telling me that people who are playing alone have to suffer because of an untethered co-op experience that they can't play with. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And 2, this game was a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One title. Until May this year, they dropped that support. I think you guys might have talked about it, but it was so this game was supposed to run on consoles that were much worse than the Xbox Series S. So it really, again, I'm just not buying any of this. Really and let's just cover this with the fact that both Lee, that's the developer that everybody's that infamous one. His account's deleted, as well as a couple of other developers.
What if he was silenced? What if he's telling the truth, Flame? What if they not letting him speak? This potato is holding things up.
S in the Rocksteady studio that just runs around with a knife. I gotcha. No, it's just I get it. If you're insulting, a product that you're technically working on, the company will shut you up. But at the same time, it's this guy has the kind of vitriol that you would see from the kind of people that we would have either muted or blocked. Basically, I have an entire article about Gotham Knights where I have 4 different screenshots of what he said.
Oh, you got the receipts.
Yeah, it's it's not professional whatsoever. So it's really hard to take that kind of personality.
He gives me the vibe, and I don't know the dude individually. I don't even know what his name is. But when I was reading screenshots of what he was saying, he gives me the vibe. It's like a PlayStation fanboy got a job at
what we doing? What we do? Careful.
Careful. And I'm not saying that.
Careful.
I don't ain't being careful. He's the one that said it, not me.
You implying thought
if you
processes.
don't watch, being an influencer on the internet, man, I could tell you right now, developer X. I don't know what your name is. Your words will and can be used against you in the court of Twitter.
So I mean, I've provided
the court of Twitter.
Provided Flavors finish his thoughts. Addict, you was jumping in.
No, I'm gonna let him finish his thoughts.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm kind of just done, but at the same time, it's like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One was gonna run this game at 30 frames anyway. So it feels like they just ported the current gen versions and just did like a Xbox One X patch or PS4 Pro patch for the modern gen consoles. Just called it a day, because I don't think this game is getting delayed any further. I think we know that it got delayed a year as well. So it's kind of just. If it was designed to run on worse hardware than the Xbox Series S, there is actually no credibility to the complaints on the Xbox Series S holding anything back.
Interesting.
Now, Plague Tale is a different story whenever it comes to the next gen, because I've seen stuff in that game that's actually kind of very technically impressive to somebody that doesn't even know game design. But, again, that's another topic. But go ahead, Addict.
I feel. Addict, man, what you think, man? Series S holding the generation back. Little man in question. What's going on?
Well, I don't think this dude meant like anything extremely negative. I do think he was speaking out of pocket on the way he was handling this conversation in general. It didn't really seem too professional considering where he works. But it's just like, look, you look at this. I did reach out to some developers about this whole scenario, and what I'm doing, I'm gonna read what they told me. Word for word.
Oh, we get some developer. Okay, we get that exclusive, Addict. Oh,
but the thing is I got to beep out some things in it because it will allude to where this individual works.
Okay. What are the streets talking? We talking to the devs. What are the streets saying?
So keep in mind, this is someone that works on all the platforms. This isn't an art director.
Okay. You had to do that.
He works on all the platforms.
You had to do that.
So
okay, go ahead.
Quote unquote.
Let's
online co-op is hard. Untethered co-op is even harder, much harder. Now, I don't know how the game was built or how the engine code is exactly handling things, but I bet having to sync all that data for the AI, game objectives, objective, transform information, etc., will cause a huge toll. Does that mean all systems need to be locked at the same frame rate so that everything has the same tick and remain in sync? That's one way of doing it. Blank used to do this. With something with thinking about that, the one thing there was in the Series S does come into play is less memory, would make it much harder to keep all that information in sync. However, there's PC ports and all variable frame rate across machines, and they will be co-op. The main takeaway is that devs are describing is insanely complicated. It has come with drawbacks, which is whenever it was the right choice or not is a whole different decision. But I'm sure they had to make some tough trade-offs. Blank tried to do untethered co-op and ran into a ton of issues, which is why there is a radius.
Okay. So basically, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'll let you finish.
It seems like I talked to a few people. It does seem like there are developers.
I talked to a bunch of people.
It does feel like there are some developers that don't particularly like working with the Series S, but it seemed like more work, not necessarily like it limits them what they can do. But it seemed like the majority of the reasons this game was pushed for 60, for 30 frames is because of the untethering. And if you think about it, there's not many co-op games that's untethered. Like if you really sit down and think about it, there is not many co-op games that's untethered. Even on certain, like State of Decay, they said they couldn't get it to work untethered. I know the Far Cry games, for the most part, they're not untethered. Like, they're untethering seems like it's very, very complicated.
Well, it's funny you said that, because I remember, didn't we have one of the, what is it, Undead Labs back in the day, right? Where we were talking about State of Decay 2, and the thing at the time was that radius, right? Where all 4 players could not stay within, they had to stay within the constraints of a radius kind of thing. So
it's not Halo Infinite. People are in the chat are saying I beeped out Halo.
Oh, they try to figure out where it's coming from. Yeah, so no, I mean, there is truth to that. There is truth to that and stuff like that. But anyway, I'll let you finish your thought before I go. What's your feeling?
I think that there are limitations to what can actually be done, but I don't think it's the limitations that you guys think. I think for the most part, you know, if it was just the Xbox Series S and X, I would say 100% the S is holding the X back. 100% the S is holding consoles back in general, but most of these games are coming out for PC.
Right.
And they go back all the way to the 20 series cards.
Hello.
Like it's just like, to me, I don't see how it affects games that's already being in development. So it's just, it's kind of crazy to me that I just don't understand why this individual decided to speak his concerns in that way. Like he's bold. Like he's bold.
He was outside with it.
So it's just like, look, at the end of the day, but then you can look at it like some of these recommended specs now for these newer games, they're intense.
Oh no, for sure. Next generation game
like
specs.
3070 is a recommended spec. Like that's a lot. So, you know, maybe there is some truth to what the man's saying. I'm not a developer by any means. I can only go to people. You know, if tomorrow I took over some type of auto engineering company, I ain't gonna be on the line making parts for a car. I'm gonna hire someone else to do it. Like,
look, this is a hot one, man. This is a hot one. I know Saul's gonna book in this thing, so I'll jump in. You know, I want to be extremely respectful, and y'all know I'm very pro dev. Like I'm always about the developer. I always lean towards the developer in most arguments. You know what I mean? And the other thing is I'm a techie, so I get the mindset of like, yo, I want the most power available to create and do what I want to do, right? I understand that mindset. So I can empathize with the developer. Yo, they got the more powerful X and whatever. They want to go balls to the wall on, you know, next generation features or whatever. I get that aspect. The part that I struggle, which seems weird to me, is that we've been in a multi-configuration, multi-SKU kind of development process for some time now. Like, this is not new. Like, we've had PS4 and PS4 Pro. We had Xbox One S and Xbox One X, right? And now we're porting to PC more than ever. Newsflash, like, I have a 1070 in my right here. There's a 1070 going on. Now, my CPU is lit. My memory is okay, right? But basically what I'm trying to say is, whenever a next generation game comes out, they got to account on PC for my SKU that it can run on a 1070, which is lower than, you know what I'm saying, the Series S. So all I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, generally, the lowest common denominator is always what it started for as far as game dev, right? From a PC configuration, you usually start with the lowest common denominator and then you spec up, right? Now, from what I hear with the Xbox One X dev kits, where they get it, there's like a Series S mode. There is no Series S dev kit, from my understanding. There's a Series S mode, and then that puts it in the mode where it would have that spec config. Now, I want to be clear. The thing that is different is the memory. The CPU and the GPU from the X to the S is virtually the same. The issue is the memory. I'm not going to discount having less memory as not being an issue. I'm not going to be disrespectful. All I'm saying is that if there's third-party releases that are on Xbox One base, if they're on PC base, and let's not act like the Switch is not out here, y'all. The Switch is still out here getting ports, which here's the problem. People have to understand that the Series S is also arguably their most successful console right now. If you look overseas, if you look Japan, that's not going away. So just like Attic, I said, you know what? Let me not speculate. Let me go talk to the people. Let me go to talk to the devs that's actually who gonna remain anonymous for the sake of this. You know what I'm saying? But let me go talk to the people, and they like, Cog, look, we ain't gonna be disrespectful, but this is way overblown. And I'm like, really? I'm trying to defend the comments. I'm like, but really, people saying, yo, this joint is a potato. Yo, this holding back the dev. Like, they like, bro, this has been going on for years. Like with pre-Series S. There's always the lowest common denominator that you have to spec for. That has not changed. You know what I'm saying? I remember when people were talking about the cell processor for PS3 was a problem. Now, we're not going to say there's not challenges, right? But there's always going to be spec. Even if you look at the PS5. Remember, the PS5 SSD is technically a different configuration.
Different
right?
configuration. Exactly.
It's definitely supposedly a higher SSD configuration.
That is more integrally integrated into how that machine runs, right? Yeah. It's not just an SSD you kind of supposedly just slap in there. It's very integral to how the games run. Mm-hmm. So you have to account for that so that's another SKU. It's
another SKU. So again, why the Series S is being singled out is laughable to me. Because at the end of the day, we've existed first of all, this is not only is it we've always existed with multiple SKUs, this generation is the most cross-generation we've ever seen. Where we're still having games that are on, is it Ragnarok still? Or whatever, like
Ragnarok is a PS4 game, yeah. and Herman Helster said that may be extended even more.
Right, Halo Infinite still could be played on a base.
Just not to Spider-Man 2.
Well, we're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do that. But look, it's just like we got to remember. And here's the other things. This is what I think is going on. Again, I spoke to a lot of people, and now, yes, there are some devs that let's say this. To the people I spoke to, there are a studio, so to speak, that wasn't a fan of dealing with the S as much. I will say that, right? But when I speak to the rest, and I'm like, yo, what about said studio? That's like, yo, they like, Cog, not that it's cap, but it's like, bro, that's part of game development. You have to adjust, you have to work. There's always going to be something that you may have to put a little more time into to get the set effect. And you know how I know that's true? Remember when Cyberpunk came out and there was no 60 frames per second mode. It's like it couldn't be done on Series S. Remember when Dying Light came out? Mm-hmm. No 60 frames per second mode. Couldn't be done. Series S hold it back. Now, months later, if it's impossible, how are they able to do it? So to me, it's tooling, learning the hardware, and doing things better. And I get it. As devs, you want more. And I'm never going to be disrespectful to the devs. Shout out to the cops that's going by. They coming for some devs. At the end of the day, you know, it's just a different SKU. And I get it. No, everybody wants max power and max thing from the jump, and no one wants to. Now, the best argument I think against it is if you want to talk about next generation game design as a whole. Like you want to talk about the limitations of game designs, but you can't. If that's the case, you still can't single out the Series S because you're now porting to PC more than ever. These games are coming to PC more than ever. They have to account for everybody's potato that is not a Series S and is lowest common denominator. Last thing I'll say, and I'll move on, is that I'm looking at Modern Warfare 2 right now, right? Series S, 1440p. 60 frames per second. Forza Horizon 5. Gears 5 Hive Busters. I play Series S almost exclusively now because I travel so much. So I see the console for what it could do. Microsoft Flight Simulator is running on the Series S, right? So again, it's about taking the time and the fact that they don't have the 4K threshold that they have to meet. You could actually do some compensation there. And the other thing that I thought was quite interesting, did y'all see the comparison when they had, I believe it was Gotham Knights, Series S, Xbox PS5 and Xbox Series X, and the Series S is holding the 30 frames per second because they don't have the 4K requirement?
Yeah, exactly.
So again, I'm going to be respectful. I get it. Game development, you know what I'm saying, is hard work. But we got to be clear, like, this is nothing new. So It's all this isolating one particular thing. I'm not necessarily buying it. And for the people who I speak to who are actual developers from multiple studios, they're not buying it. So that's what the streets are talking about. So I'll let you finish.
I mean, you guys said everything. You guys really did your research on this. So I appreciate that. But you guys really did say everything. It's the argument. Shout out, and rest in peace to Optimus Code.
Yes,
this is.
I wish he was here for this. Yeah.
This is the argument we've been having for years, man. Yeah. You know, it was the idea of the ubiquity of game design across all these platforms, right? And the idea of how design is marred by the fact that you have to hit all these different SKUs. And that part I agree with, right? But the thing I always disagree with Code on was that the fact that design is affected is something that is intrinsic to games. It's always going to be the case. Correct. Because if you're designing across all of these platforms, you have to think before you even start designing what limitations there are and what I can and cannot do. And that's just a fact about it, right? Unless you're only focused on one console, one SKU, and you can push that to the limit. This is a consideration that is intrinsic to game design, period.
And let me interrupt you one second, Sal. Here's the other thing. We're forgetting the business part. Because we can sit here from a technological standpoint and say these consoles are holding back these particular SKUs, right? But if the most popular console is Switch and Series S, guess what's going to happen? You're going to learn how to develop for that.
You're going to hold that.
You're going to learn. The brass, it says, guess what these numbers say? These numbers say that the Switch is with an MPD, and that the Series S is our most powerful console, and the PlayStation 4 base versus the PlayStation 4 Pro is the most powerful console. So guess what you're going to have to learn to do?
Exactly. What you're going to have to learn a program for, and guess what, consumers? Guess what you're going to have to eat? Right?
Exactly.
And if you don't want to eat that, I have a console for you. It's called a 4090. Go get that. Go get that console.
Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is the thing. What we don't think about when we make these comments and talk about this is the fact of how, and we've talked about this in the past, business and art are intrinsically pushed together in the gaming space in a way that doesn't happen anywhere else, right? And the fact of the matter is that because the art has gotten so expensive to make because of the quality that we expect as gamers, right? The business aspect of it is going to inherently affect it even more, because it's a balance that has to be reached by how much money and resources we spend on making this the very best it can be, or do we spend it on marketing it across X amount of platforms and maximize our sales so that we can gradually continue to make more higher quality products, right? It is a business consideration that I don't like. I don't like the fact that it's a reality, but it is a reality.
It is.
So when you look at this and you look at, you see devs saying quietly, many devs are saying that this is an albatross. I want receipts. Right. You say you have the I'm not gonna say gall, but you have the stones to say it. Come out and be like, I said this because of this reason. And the fact of the matter is that it is just another SKU that you have to develop for.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. Maybe you don't want to take the time to do it.
And all studios are not created equal either.
Exactly.
From a talent level. Let's be clear.
And that's another thing. Let's be clear. There are A teams, there are B teams.
Hello.
And sometimes the B teams are sort of relegated to making ports for others, right? Or not even B teams, but teams that you bring in contractually to port things. That happens as well. Right. So is it an easy thing to do? I have know nothing about it, and I know that it's not an easy thing to do. But the fact of the matter is that this creating SKUs across a number of different platforms is intrinsic to how games are made.
Always.
Period. And even the companies that have been used to doing it on only one platform, right? You look at PlayStation. Yeah. Now they have to start expanding and looking at the PC platform. And then all of a sudden, when you look at the PC platform, it's not like they decided to be like, hey, we're gonna make games for Xbox now, right? That's one SKU. No, you went to the platform that has a range of SKUs that you now have to consider when you make these ports. So pretty much everybody's in the same boat now, where when you make a game and you want it to be on as many platforms and be as accessible as possible, the fact of the matter is all of these considerations have to be made, and the Series S is just another consideration. To put it out there as this albatross that is holding back everything,
messing up the gen.
Messing up the gen. And the thing about it is, and the crazy thing about it is that there are PCs out there and PC players with the expectation that you said 1070.
Bro, my PC is whacker than the Series.
Bro, I have a laptop with a 1060 in it.
Facts.
And when you look, the 1060 is the most popular GPU across.
Talk to him.
Yeah, but I don't think you can really use those surveys a whole lot, because a lot of these PC gamers they're playing Fortnite, Overwatch. They're playing very low demanding games that don't need these higher graphic cards.
But they do use it as the metric.
Isn't like one of the most popular games on Steam Counter-Strike? I mean, I could probably
but
run
that doesn't eliminate the fact, diminish the fact that what they're playing it on exists. It is the majority.
And it's the majority. They're going to use those metrics.
Is when the majority of PC people are playing this selective games to the left, and they're not really playing these selective games to the right. Obviously, when you have more people playing this type of game, you're going to see more of the cards that run these type of games. And if you can get away with running a 1080 or an early 20 series card, and the majority of the gamers are playing those games, they have no reason to upgrade. That's why I feel like
I get what you're saying on that.
You see the minimum or the recommended specs for a lot of these newer games is way higher. I don't know if those games are going to be playing those games.
To my point, you're absolutely right, Attic. And to my point, and I give it back to you, Shaun, I still got to get flamed. But to my point, that's where the business comes in, right? Because the business is going to say, well, look, they all on 1060. You know what I'm saying? Or over here. Like, it comes down to you cater towards where the people most likely are, right? Now, to your point, yes. Next generation games, when you look at minimum spec, oh boy, it's getting higher. Oh boy, some of these minimum requirements are much higher. There's no doubt about that. That's all I'm saying. It's just that we have to not discount the business part. But I'll let you continue.
And back to the business part, and you mentioned this, Addict. If you think that the game devs and the publishers aren't, when you see the recommended spec in the 3070s, why is that? Because they have an inherent interest, right? That the graphics cards manufacturers sell new graphics cards, right? All of that works. They all work together. You understand?
Question I do have for you guys is one. I personally feel like it would be more probably beneficial to start rotating off these older cards to make the floor skate for these games higher. And two, do you think that a developer, not particularly this developer, but just people in the past that spoke concerned on making these many type of SKUs to make games, do you think that they should voice their opinion on the annoyance of making a game for 5 or 6 different queues? Because like if you look at it, we've had different queues all through this time, but this is like one of the first times where you're having it out the start of the gate. Because, the Xbox Series X was introduced later in the Xbox One. Because, like, this type of, besides PC, this is new to consoles. This isn't something that just happened in the past 10 years. Like, PC's been doing that since the beginning.
Oh, PC's have for sure.
I mean, we're not going backwards, Addy. It's not, I mean, we're already past that point of no return. It's not going back to that. Like, so consoles aren't going back to that. PC's never going to go to that. Because the idea is you want as many people to access the game as possible. So it's just not going back. Like the wall garden you're talking about on the console side, that wall is broken down, bro. The really last bastion of that is Nintendo, and Nintendo is going to do what they do and not be affected by what else is going on.
I think the biggest takeaway I can make from this is like, look, I get it. You couldn't hit it with 30, with 60 on the Series S. If that's what this individual was really aiming for from the start, he should have probably just said that. Right. But it's just like, why did Dead Rising 2 come out at 30 on the S and 60 on the X? It's like, to me, you could have made that work. I don't know. Like, it's just, to me, other people are looking at it like, look, let's let's go ahead and cap this form, this version 30 until post-launch, so we have the time to go back. Because I think it's all time sensitive.
Right.
I think they don't have the time to finish
It could be.
optimizing the game
It could
on
be.
the S,
That makes sense.
and they're gonna do it post-launch. But it's like this particular one, it's like they're like, we're not going to even worry about the X or the PS5. Like you playing it like you playing last gen, brother.
No, you know what I think it is. And I saw Flame. I'm sorry. I know we keep. This is good dialogue. It's good dialogue. And you know what it reminds me of. And I want to be respectful because I'm not trying to sit there and say that they all capping. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no problems with the Series S. It's completely. I'm not doing that. What I'm trying to explain is that game development, game design, yes, there's challenges to it. There's no doubt about it. What I remember is the 360 and the PS3 era, right? And I remember devs was like, oh, God, the cell with the PS3, the cell process. Remember, there were certain things. I remember specifically the Bethesda ports really did not run well comparatively on PS3. It was really a problem. But guess what? Over the generation, they eventually got systems better, tooling better, and they were able to start developing games so they could at least try to be on parity with the 360. That's what it feels. And I don't even feel like this is that serious. You know what I'm saying? Because in this particular case, the GPUs and the CPU are the same. It's the memory, and I'm not going to discount.
It's the memory, yeah.
I'm not going to discount that the memory is not an issue. Yes, it is. I'm not going to say it's not. But all I'm saying is there are challenges in game development with multiple SKUs. Multiple SKUs have existed for a long time, right? And I just think at the start, because we're still fairly new in this generation, at the start of this generation, they are just now figuring this out. If you notice, even Xbox themselves have come out with like different SKUs for Series S to try to improve the memory allocation and stuff like that to make it easier for them, because devs intrinsically want things to be easier and want to utilize the most powerful they can. Flame, add it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You go ahead and finish.
Yeah, Flame.
Did you want to go first?
No, yeah, Flame. You've been patient.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, one of the comments that I was seeing, like, from some of the developers was just, developers, was the fact that I'm sorry, it's hard not to, especially whenever it comes to the fact they were really asking Microsoft or demanding that Microsoft just drop Xbox Series S support. So you're gonna tell me that the console that I think is at 2-to-1 with the Series X, they're just gonna suddenly drop that? They're gonna drop.
Oh yeah, Microsoft ain't doing it.
yeah. They're not gonna drop all of those customers just because the developers don't want to work on another SKU. And plus, again, I can't emphasize this enough. This argument started over Gotham Knights, and I was listening to the Scumcast last night with Ash and Luca. She had a developer, I think it's his name is Agent Deli on Twitter. Like, he was literally saying the entire game design literally was outside of the whenever you go inside, it's basically hallway room, like the same boring game design. There's nothing really special being done, and it's hard to take any of this seriously whenever it's over this game.
Yeah. I've listened, again, I haven't played the game yet, so I'll make my own decisions on it, but I did want to listen to what other people had to say. And one of the things that's interesting is that I've heard very little about people, saying that this untethered experience is amazing. And to Flame's point, it feels like they didn't take the opportunity to run with making this type of game in this franchise their own. And it just feels like it's the same old stuff, not even as polished as before. So it's like, I'll never begrudge a team for taking the initiative to do something different, even if they fail a little bit, and but they put the idea out there. But not a single review that I listened to or read said anything about, listen, I know the 30 FPS controversy is what it is, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this co-op is banging. I didn't hear any of that.
I feel like there's multiple layers to this issue. One issue is they waited so long, and the only reason we found out is because I heard someone got a copy early and they exposed the 30 frame thing, and then they started confirming it was 30 frames. It's like, look, I'm on this new kick. It's like, if it's a 30-frame game and I'm not emotionally attached, I'm boycotting you.
I'm boycotting.
It's not happening.
So I'm actively not just playing, not playing, actively boycotting.
Because it's just like, nah, like you said, I'm not going backwards.
Yep.
Like if everyone else can offer in performance mode, you mean to tell me Gotham Knight can't? Like no, like we ain't about that. You know, put Gotham Knight, go to the back of the line. Go to the back of the line. And you know, Plague Tale, go back there too. Like,
no.
Let's
go Flame. Let's go Flame.
If you want me to let you out the bus, you better have 60 frame patch on your head. It's just, it's not gonna happen. It's like I'm not going back to playing 30 frame games. It's just not. It's not realistic to me.
I feel
like the only way I would play a 60 frame game is I'm emotionally tied to that franchise.
I like how we bougified Addict.
Yeah,
Addict was the dude last year. He was, I don't care. I'll play it on whatever. I don't care.
If like the next Final Fantasy came out, it's 30 frames.
You boycott. You think you touched
it's just like,
let's go.
See what Crisis Core runs at.
I'm open with that. It's not like I'm open with that. It's not like I'm saying that I'm boycotting all. No, I'm like, you know, there's some. That's like, you know, there's some that pop out that bus. And like, okay, just go in the back. Don't tell nobody.
Don't show nobody your frame count. But I'm rocking.
Addict, what are you playing this week? Oh, nothing.
Look, man, it's a good one. And I'm glad y'all said the last point. We'll wrap this up. Also, you know, look, some studios, they're poorly optimized the way they handle, you know, their ports. And that's a factor too, you know. So again, not going to be disrespectful. We hear, you know, what, you know, a few are saying. But when we speak to a lot of the majority of these devs and a lot of people, hardware makers, software makers.
Wavy Cole, so I don't even want you putting that in the world. What if Fable is a 30 frame?
Show me your build.
I'm tempted to just block you for putting that
Show me your build. What's gonna be Addict? What's gonna be?
I smell a bend the knee.
Yeah, you go bend the knee. Fable come out and they say 30 frames.
I'm not even putting the energy of that bend the knee out there. It's not happening. Like
you gonna have to do it.
Because nah, we ain't even talking about that.
Yeah.
I would be devastated.
Your favorite too.
60. I would be devastated. See, it's going to have to be one of those things where it's like, you know, they're midway through. I walk through. I see the 30 frames on their head. It's like I snatch it and just hand them the 60 frames. Just act like it's yours. Just act like it's yours.
Final point, and this is the thing too. Again, where not all development studios are made the same too, because you have to account also for the ones that they do account for, they see the, what's the word, like the disparities, right? Mm-hmm. And think about this generation, how many times we've actually gotten a performance mode, right? So to me, those dev studios are looking at the touch points and able to say, okay, we do the trade-offs here on resolution, we could still achieve that. Let's give the gamer that option. And to me, that does separate studios from each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's talent also, bro. Okay.
Did you see what Callisto Protocol did?
What they do? Oh yeah.
Oh, he came out and said he was like,
Callisto was out of pocket.
It was rumored that their game was going to get delayed, so they had to address that. Obviously, and they're like, "Look, we are coming out February. We are coming out December. I don't care what the internet says. We will be there day and date, not February like these rumors. Not only that, we will have a performance."
Yeah, I get that. Shout out to them for being messy.
And then you know what I did, because they gave me that energy, man. You know what I did? I quote tweeted and said, "Day one."
Messy. Out of control. So that's what we got. Let's get these super chats solved and move on.
Cool, no doubt. Give me 1 second.
Chat is out of pocket today.
We got Iron Mike, $5 super chat. King doing a Jim Ryan style world tour, doing everything in his power to delay that Ragnarok. That's what he out there
took
doing.
A flight.
You know what's funny? When I was streaming Persona, someone put in the chat, they're like, "Addict, there's review copies out there. People got the game. Why ain't you took King's Knees yet?" And I'm like, because I ain't gonna be able to take King's Knees until that game is out for the public. He ain't doing nothing like that. But I do want to bring up that I was gonna conclude the God of War giveaway this week. You know, I'm gonna milk it a little bit more. You know, I will post the the tweet again today, and there will be one last week of that God of War giveaway, and after that, it's wrap. Keep in mind, it's only for North America, I think, correct?
Yes, and guys,
and
keep
we
in
will
mind
not
also
be having it day one because obviously, Sony can't do anything right. We can
hopefully we'll get in on that second shipment, but they definitely said you will not be receiving it by launch day. So that means that the winner will definitely not be receiving it by launch day.
And do you think we should do the thing for the thing, Saul? We should do that. Or should we wait till next week?
Let's wait till next week. I want more. I want more concreteness. But either way, we should still, put it out there. Let's just. Yeah, let me read the super chats. Hold on.
No doubt.
THX1138, $5 super chat. PS4 is the rotten spud holding back the generation. These games are designed on last generation in mind, 2 to 3 years transition. Listen, if we want to be honest and call something an albatross, the albatross is the lowest spec possible on PC that these games run on. That's the albatross. If we really talk about that,
talk about it.
It's nonsensical. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We got Flame, member for 25 months. Lord Bronze, there's an imposter on your podcast. I'm still on the run for the horses. Also, I swear I didn't rig the vote. I swear.
Shout out to that other Flame.
Yeah, I don't know who this person is on the podcast, but he has good points. So we'll keep him here. It's fine. Then we got Face 23 BKNY, $20 super chat. There's been multiple devs that has complained about the Series S, so you can't deny that what some devs have said. Yeah, we acknowledge that people have said that, but a lot of it comes down to your specific situation, and the argument that we're arguing against is just the fact that this is intrinsic to game design. So for you to be like, to point the finger at one thing, but like, this is what's ruining everything, it doesn't make sense.
Also, multiple devs does not suggest majority of devs. You have to be clear.
Yeah. So we got Jonas the Dad, $2 super chat. On a positive note, AC Odyssey on Game Pass is effing fire. Yes, AC Odyssey is it. Please make sure you're playing as Cassandra. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a hard one.
Then we got Spark Go 17, $2 super chat. Crying for more power won't turn the trash game to gold. That's another thing. Again, I haven't played it myself. I'll make my own deductions. But generally, people aren't necessarily so high on Gotham Knights. So
yeah, hearing mixed things.
Yes. So yeah. Then we have Jeesh, $2 super chat. 1070. Cog lives in the Stone Age.
Focus is on CPU and storage, brother.
That's what it was. Hold up. Jeesh? That's from the Persona stream, actually, Addict, from yesterday.
Oh, salute.
Returning viewer, welcome, Jeesh.
No doubt. Jeesh in the building. Salute.
Then we have J1, new member. Shout out to J1. Put the crest in the chat. $5 super chat. I can understand why COG is Lord Acquisition. First party studios almost always have less technical issues and have better optimization. But yeah, that doesn't make sense. A first party studio should they have the keys to the castle, right? But again, the majority of games that come out and the majority of games that you play are third party games.
Third party games, like I said, and the Switch is still out here, y'all. Just let y'all know.
Yeah,
much as people act like it don't exist, the Switch is still out here. They get ports.
They just released Alan Wake remastered on the Switch. Native.
Yeah, people go where the money's at. That's just how it works.
Congratulations, the Switch got a 360 game running.
Listen, you can
remastered.
You get in your feelings, but what the money say,
They have done a Taco $2 super chat. Saints Row is untethered co-op at 60 FPS. End the thread. Yeah, and Saints Row is not good.
Oh, damn.
Then we got Face again, 23 BKNY, $20 super chat. Gotham Knights is not a demanding game. It's poorly optimized on PC. This is true. And console, and wouldn't be surprised if they release a 60 FPS performance mode months later. Like Attic was saying, it's probably coming in hot anyway, right? And so... yeah, we have Rick Gaffney, £2 super chat. First time catching you live. Love the pod, fellas. Thank you, brother.
Salute,
appreciate that.
Much love.
Then we got Hector the Macho Man, $5 super chat. All hail the Lords. Just because the king isn't here doesn't mean you don't wipe your feet.
I appreciate y'all.
You jive turkeys. Thank you. Appreciate that. Then we got Hargeet Chennai, member 5 for 1 year, $5 super chat. Nintendo already has 2 SKUs with the Switch docked and undocked. That is true.
That's real. That's another. I forgot about that. Yo, that is bad real. They actually have more performance in the console version. I mean, the ported version, in the dock version, and they have to account for that. It just that's how game development works.
Yes, it is, man.
But we can spread the falsehoods.
Yeah, but you know, tell a business suit. Oh, I'm not putting the game on the Switch because I can't get it to where. How many Switches are out there? 150 million.
See that store base? Oh yeah.
Yes, you are.
You gonna get in there? You gonna make that point? You gonna make Outer Worlds over there? You gonna make Witcher over there? And you gonna like it. Get in there. Business.
$2 super chat. Save your $70 and buy Bayonetta 3 at 60 FPS game. Yes, it will be at 60 FPS. That I do agree with. Hold on a second. And did we jump? We got Dark Side Fantasy, $2 super chat. Addict, where the Rabbids review? We need that, man. Addict did not play Rabbids, I don't think.
Where Rabbids at?
Oh my God, these people and their demands.
Oh, yeah, the Ironback did not receive a request for a code.
Ironback is ready.
Come on, if we get 350 likes, I will review Rabbids.
And you know what? We need these pillows because I feel, if you're gonna do all this gaming, you got to be comfortable with it.
Let's go.
You got to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You got to really do this gaming. You know what I'm saying?
Let's put this link in the chat.
Links in the chat. You know what I'm saying? If y'all really want Act to do these things, I see that Valari link at the top. Make sure y'all go support that. You know what I'm saying? With my good people, Valari. Make sure your posture's right when you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Hit that joint. Got that link up at the top right there. The link's right there. Go to Valari's pin at the top. Get your gaming on. Get real comfortable with it. Your posture right. Continue. Pillow talk with the Lords. That's right.
It's upside down.
And there may be additional incentives coming down the pipeline.
Y'all might want to do that. Y'all might want to do that. Make you hit them numbers. It's gonna be right. Continue.
And we got Donna Taku, $5 super chat. Also, Mario plus Rabbids 2 is the best turn-based game this year, even better than Triangle Strategy. Flame Lord, turn-based. You better not sleep. He's not about that.
Don, don't come at me, man. I'm on the panel now, and I still have a wrench.
Oh, man. Stitch, your paddles late. Remember, it's the pre-order page, Stitch. We pre-order. We got to get the pre-order. Get that joint popping. Pillow talk. Let's go.
Then we got Kid Smooth, member for 29 months. Shout out to you. 29 months. Time flies. Been playing Persona 5 Royale. I can't believe I'm 10 hours in. End of the Palace 1 and still want to play. Was not expecting to enjoy this much.
Okay, kid. I'm surprised.
Apparently, shame on you for enjoying the game. Shame on you.
Yeah, I get it. Some people are very vocal about not caring about something that's on your platform, but it's just like I know people that's huge into like achievements and stuff. So it's just like if it's not on their platform, why are people the same people that are clowning Smooth right now for posting all types of stuff on Persona are the same people that says that the Xbox people wouldn't play the game.
Yeah.
So it's just like
some of these arguments.
You don't play. You're gonna say that your fan base didn't support the title.
Yeah. So what do y'all want? Yeah.
But here's the thing, again, I think it's like we got to be real too. Like there's just remember how we always talk about when games come to PC and like a lot of console guys are mad, right? There's just some people they're gonna prefer to play something on a platform they like. That's it.
And they'll wait however long it takes to get it there.
That's just how it is. Now, some people are like, oh, that's fake. But that's where they like to play games.
And even if they have that platform already, they won't do it. Like I've said, listen, this is a funny thing, right? I heard it this morning specifically, somebody like, you're not a real gamer if you do that and you own all the platforms, right? Tell Colin Moriarty he's not a real gamer. Tell him he's not a real gamer. And he'll have the platform right in his house. He's like, I'm playing it on PlayStation whenever it comes out.
Yeah, when I spoke to Colin, me and him had a great discussion about it. And he was just like, look, I'm so embedded in the ecosystem with trophies. And so he was like, for him to come to Xbox, he was like, and we came up with this word. We call it like smart, like, like smart delivery.
Right.
We call it like smart entitlements or whatever, where it's like.
Right. Like the achievements are across the board.
So all your third-party games to just come over and into Xbox and the trophies will turn into achievements, right? Some people just like the ecosystem. It's just not that serious, not that deep, bro. And the same thing with PC. My thing is I'd rather, more people play the game. Two,
Yes.
if they buy the game, then guess what? You get more support for a potential sequel and other things in the future. So I get it.
I also do think that, you know, some people do feed into it too much.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily doing it because some people are contradicting earlier tweets and stuff. They're doing it because they know they're going to get a response.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's just the reality of Twitter, right?
Yeah.
But I will say, the only thing I will say is this. Xbox people.
Oh, yeah, true. Talk that talk.
Xbox
Yeah,
people.
talk that talk.
You're getting them games. I'm the one that said there was a cold day in hell when it was going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah, you got to support.
You need to support. If you want to see more of these games, you need to support. If nobody's downloading this, if it's not out there being played in big numbers, the Xbox, you know, the higher ups at Xbox going to look at this and be like, is it worth it for us? You have to absolutely, if you ask for something, support it when it's there.
As smooth as enjoying Persona, a lot of you will enjoy Persona.
Yeah.
No doubt. What else we
Let's
got?
see what we got. Chancleta Mangu. Ow! Member for 9 months. Lord Bronze. Happy Sunday, Lords. 9 months in the realm. Question of the day. Can a baby have 4 fathers? Hey, yo, have a great show. Yo.
Wow. Messy. What else we got?
Then we got Stitch, $5 super chat. Cog, I need my pillow. Coding for 60 plus hours a week is rough. I need something to hug me when fixing bugs.
Listen,
no doubt.
man,
Yes, we got something for you.
We got something for you. Exclusive joints coming. You know what I mean? Remember, it's the pre-order joint, top of the year. Y'all will get them. We just got to get that over 100, y'all. I'm telling you, hit that link at the top of the description, man. Go get that.
You get that 15%
That
off.
15% off before you get the 100, and you got to spend more bread. Don't do it. I'm going to put the link in again just in case y'all forgot.
Yeah, put it in the chat for sure. And we have Donald Taco, $5 super chat. Bought Persona 5 Royal on Xbox and Switch and already have Persona 5 and Royal on PS4. All steelbook secured, no doubt. You're a real gamer, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that, Donald Taco. But that's love right there. Like you got to have it everywhere.
And you know, I will point out this. We're still in the early, you know, if I see some of the here's the scenario. I'm just gonna say it.
Let's go.
Here's the scenario. All right.
Where we going?
Okay, just go ahead because Cog already said it to mine as well.
Yeah, so they're going to NYC. What's it called?
Play NYC.
So Play NYC on November 5th.
They want me to go, but I ain't going for free. I ain't gonna be real with you guys. Look, I gotta travel. I gotta drive 2 hours. I gotta get on a plane.
Yeah.
They over there. They already over there. Okay. So if you guys want an in-person podcast, making my white self get on a bus, get in a car, drive 2 hours, fly for an additional 2 to 3, wait for Cog to pick me up from the airport. I don't know how long that take. He busy. He a busy dude. It could take hours. Then I'm gonna need 10 pillows sold by the end of the month. I'm gonna need 10 pillows sold, and me, Cognito, King, and Solve will have an in-person podcast.
That'll be fine.
We ain't never done that.
That would be fine. Yeah, we do
So
it in person.
We
Not
will
just
have
us,
an
not just us, no.
in-person podcast
Yeah.
with just us 4, and that's up to you guys. If you guys want that,
Get that
go
valari.
buy.
Stop
I
playing.
need 10 pillows sold between right now, the 23rd, and the 30th. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna stay home and play Persona.
Listen, I heard the man. Make it happen. Y'all know what to do.
Make it happen. Yeah, he's been fighting us on this. He's like, why I gotta go for this one day? I'm like,
Shout out to K. Ashanti, already got that fellow. Shout out to DJ Orals in the building. I see y'all. You know what I mean? All right, no doubt. Use the link. Get the
Appreciate
15%.
y'all.
Make sure y'all use the link to get the 15%. Some of y'all are buying it, and we respect it, but you're not using the link.
The link.
Yes. No
So
doubt.
you know, especially you want me and King in the same room.
Yes,
that's gonna be crazy.
my. That's gonna be something.
What else we got?
And we got Big Mad Mo, member for 28 months. Lord Braun, shout out to you, sir. Shout out to the Lords in the realm. Also, Persona 5 is fire. No doubt.
Salute. Good to see people playing and support. That's what's up.
And Dodo Taku $2 super chat. Who are you guys Persona 5's waifus?
Lord.
I hear different people standing for different characters. Yes.
I got a girlfriend that watches these. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I'm not too far gone. Sorry. I'll tell you later, buddy.
No doubt.
Then we got Chill Walker, member for 17 months. Even though Persona 5 is on Game Pass, I still bought the game because I know I will play it. and then back to my second run of Soul Hackers. Yes, sir.
Peacock Fusion. He said, "Rip, I missed the 15%. Get that second one. You know what I'm saying, for your, your special someone. You know what I mean?" No.
Stocking stuffers, like a king says.
Stocking stuffer.
We got JD Gamer, $20 super chat. Shout out to the Lords. Give me a little man on the screen and understand its power.
I got you, little man outside. You know what I'm saying? They came for the kid. They try to get him up out of here.
They try to get him up out of here.
He doing his thing. He the most successful, though. He doing his thing. Most successful.
It's a dopeable shot to the gut of PlayStation, and that's why they're over there yapping, pretending like Japan and others aren't running with the box. Pause. Yeah, they are, though.
Yeah, running with the box. We got to be careful with the language. But we respect that, JD. We respect where you try to go with it. Anyway,
we caught up.
We caught up? All right, no doubt. Let's get into it, y'all. So, next topic, y'all. Bayonetta controversy returns. Got some additional information. Addict, this is your topic. Want to get into it, man?
Set me up. Something's going on right now.
All right, no doubt. So, shout out. We pretty much know the history from last time, which is the actress came out, and I believe her name was it Helena Taylor? Excuse me. Yeah, Helena Taylor. Helena Taylor came out, and she has the viral videos. It went up to 9.5 million views on Twitter. Really struck a nerve amongst gamers and voice actors and actresses that are underpaid, underappreciated. And it sparked a lot of debate. So since then, shout out to Jason Schreier, you know what I'm saying, from Bloomberg, and there's some digging. So it said in the case of Bayonetta 3, the developer appeared to be determined to rehire Taylor, according to two people familiar with the negotiations, as well as documentation reviewed by Bloomberg. Here's where the accounts differ from Taylor's. Platinum Games sought to hire Taylor for at least 5 sessions, each paying $3,000 to $4,000 for 4 hours in the studio, said the people who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to discuss private contract negotiations. That would make the total for the game at least $15,000. In response, they said Taylor asked for a 6-figure sum as well as residuals on the game. Platinum declined, and following lengthy negotiations, took auditions for a new actor. Platinum later offered Taylor a cameo in the game for the fee of 1 session, which she turned down, the people said. In an email, Taylor, I guess, refuted, described this account as an absolute lie, and said Platinum was trying to save their and the game. She said she stood by everything she said in the video. I would like to put this whole bloody franchise behind me, quite frankly. Get on with my life in the theater, she wrote. Representatives for Platinum Games and Nintendo didn't respond to requests for comment. Hideki Kamiya, the executive director of Bayonetta 3, called Taylor's allegations sad and deplorable in a Twitter post. And yeah, I think, and then also since then, we believe Jennifer Hale, who I guess, has now taken over the role, she had a statement, and she said, I wish her all the joy in the world. Excuse me. This was the initial statement, but she was mad at Jennifer Hale Taylor was still mad at Jennifer Hale, saying that she had no right and whatever. So then, since then, I believe she went to Twitter, because remember Hale was attacked, and said, I sincerely ask that everyone keep in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hardworking, dedicated people, and I hope everyone will keep an eye open about what they've created. A few hours later, she retweeted a Twitter thread from another voice actor saying, if you only hear one side or part of one story, you haven't heard the whole story. So it's been a lot that has happened since then. I know Addict stepped away, so we'll take over for it. But let's go with you, Flame. Like, what's your thought process now that more information has come out? The Jason Schreier stuff, kind of disputing a little bit as far as what the pay discrepancy actually was. Actually disputing that, saying that that's not true, and then obviously the person who has replaced her then coming out with a statement. So, what's your feeling on all this?
Well, I kind of knew that Jason Schreier was going to come out with a report. He always kind of does. And so I actually do want to give him his flowers and actually being able to clear the air about this, because the thing that concerns me the most about Helena Taylor's entire stance is the fact that she literally said like she wants to put the whole bloody franchise behind her. It's like that's not some. In the videos beforehand, she was like very prideful about the game and that nobody has any right to play this character aside from me. And then in another breath, it's like I just want to put this whole franchise behind this. Like, I just don't like that kind of energy.
Mm.
So it's kind of hard to gauge this from one side or the other. All I could say is that whenever it comes down to this, people are still going to make their decisions whether or not to boycott. You know, people are still going to side with Helena or Platinum Games at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can really say is that if you don't want to support Bayonetta 3 because you feel like Helena has been wronged by this,
mm-hmm. then
just consider the fact that Hale will be hurt by this, because if it doesn't reach a certain milestone, if it doesn't reach like sales milestones, won't go about it. But
mm-hmm.
In terms of like the inconsistency with like the story, I think if anything, she could have disputed that she probably didn't get the call for the first role or whatever, because
mm-hmm.
like Platinum said, like they tried to get her back the first time around, but she's not mentioning that. So maybe maybe there was like something lost like in the emails or something like that. I don't know. Maybe she didn't get the first one for the role, and then she only got the call for the cameo, believing it was for the whole role or something like that. But I don't know how you would get that mixed up. So it's kind of it's a messy situation, man.
Very messy.
It really is.
Yeah, very messy. A lot of stuff going on that we're still not all privy to, but we obviously got some more inside reporting from Jason Schreier and Bloomberg. Soph, what are you thinking now that this additional information has come out, you know, in reference to insiders stating, you know, what Helena got paid, and then obviously Helena disputing that in conjunction with Jennifer's, you know, response as well?
Well, first off, you know, the people saying that she's, you know, immediately jumping to the conclusion that she lied, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because even if there was a gross misunderstanding of what they offered her, if the base rate, even though you'd expect an actress like her not to receive the base rate, if the base rate was still $1,000 and they said that recording would be anywhere from 4 to 5 sessions, it makes sense that she might understand that they only offered him $4,000 for the whole thing, right? It still makes sense. So there's still a scenario where being offered $4,000 makes sense. So for people to just jump on and be like, "Oh, she was obviously lying," doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
What about omission?
Omitting that's the thing, right? The weird part is, if you're going to come out and say all these things, and you want them to be, you're asking people to boycott the game, be as clear and concise with what you're saying as possible. If you specifically come out and say, yeah, there's X amount of sessions I would be doing, and they offered me X amount of money per session, then there's no questioning her whatsoever. So omitting that absolutely does not look good on her part. So ultimately, either there was gross miscommunication across all parties here, or somebody's lying, right? And that's where, like, to Flame's point, it's hard to even really come down on this on one side or the other, because now it comes down to he said, she said, right? And that's all it is. It's conjecture. We don't have any real proof either way, because if Platinum really felt that their game would be in jeopardy by what's going on here, who's to say they're not above doctoring some documents and showing them who is to say, right? Who is to say? I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't. You should not trust companies. Period. Like, you just shouldn't. Like, they have their best interest at heart, whatever that may be. Assuming levels of integrity from big companies or companies in general, it's hard to do, because it's an entity, not an individual, right? It's not a person, it's an entity, and they're going to do what they need to do to protect the entity. Unless, the evidence out there is so absolutely, unapproachable that you just, you can't do anything but admit to it. So, yeah, this is a tough one, because, again, it just feels in my mind somebody's lying or they just, the language barriers or whatever the hell, she misunderstood. She understood something completely different to what they were trying to present to her. But again, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, because they've dealt with each other for years at this point. And, if there's some gross misunderstanding about what they're offering to pay you, you want to make sure that you go back to the table like, hey, is this what you're saying? Like, is this what? So it doesn't make sense that there was this gross misunderstanding. So sadly, it feels like somebody's lying and we'll never really know the truth of this. So end of the day, I think Jennifer Hale took the high road, as she should have. Because you don't want to get into back and forth with Helena. We talked about this last week, how, I understand her personal reasons and respect that. At the same time, that character is not yours. You don't own anything about that character. The character's voice and image, everything about it is iconic in that in that it's recognizable to anybody who's played those games or played video games. You know what Bayonetta sounds like. You've heard her in Smash Brothers and her own games. So there is an iconic nature to that character. You don't own the character, unfortunately. It's just not the case. I mean, if David Hayter can be replaced with Solid Snake, you're replaceable in that regard. So that sort of rant that she went on afterwards, I can't abide by that. I can't.
Yeah, be bad.
I think that, look, these voice actors are very talented. A lot of them have very unique voices, but it's just like you said, you're good, but there's someone that sounds just like you. It's just like, everyone's replaceable in every form of fashion. There's always someone else who's willing to do what you're willing to do, even cheaper than you're willing to do it. So it's just like, sometimes you got to humble yourself. It's just like, she had every right to deny that money. But what she didn't have the right to do was encourage people not to only support Bayonetta 3. She told the actress that took over the Bayonetta mantle that you have no right signing posters as Bayonetta. Who is she to even say that she has the right? You didn't make the character. You voiced the character. You weren't in the room writing for the character. It's not like you created it, so you decided to voice it. That's the crazy part. All you did was voice it. Look, you brought it to life. No one's ever going to take that away from you. You brought that character to life. But we've seen it over and over again, especially in anime. They'll switch people, and you could tell the voice has changed. But after a couple months, nobody says anything ever again.
I want to read y'all something, just because Cog's always got to be devil's advocate. I want to read something. I want to know what y'all think. So this is again from Schreier in the article. Game actors have long complained of being underpaid and underappreciated. Some have said they receive little information about their roles until they show up actually in the recording booth. The industry operates in such clandestine ways that actors sometimes won't even know what game they're recording lines for until it's released. The tensions last crested during contract negotiations in 2016 when the union representing many voice actors, the Screen Actors Guild, and American Federation of Television and Radio Artists orchestrated a strike that lasted nearly a year. One of the sticking points was residuals, which we know she asked for. Allegedly, she had asked for a part of her negotiation, meaning compensation for actors when sales of a game outperform expectations. Voice actors gave up that fight, the residuals, in exchange for receiving bonuses based on the number of sessions they work. So does any of that change your thought process where you might not know what you're going to get paid when you step into the booth? And also another factor.
They said you don't know what your character is going to be until you step into the booth. Did they say pay?
They said as far as the industry operates, I'm going to get into that too. So there's another article that talked about the union aspect, right? And shout out to Games Industry Biz. It says generally union membership for voice actors is encouraged for the same reasons it is everywhere else. Unions hold collective bargaining power, and unions contracts not only negotiate and renegotiate contract for rates, but also make sure performers receive health insurance, pension, and overtime. Minimum agreements ensure that no matter for how long a performer actually works, they receive a minimum flat rate. There is a chance for actors to be paid use fees or one-time fee a client pays for the continued use of a performance. Additional money an actor can make is based on the revenue of the game or piece of animations that are called residuals. Its members agree to not only work on projects that honor union contracts in order to not undercut each other and defeat the purpose of the unions. But what do you do if a lot of the projects you want to work on don't offer union contracts? And then it talks about, the popularity of an actor, and if this game is could be a big time game, but it's not union supported, right? So basically is the short-term game of a non-union project, like a role in a popular gaming franchise, preferable to the stability of what a union stands for. And that basically the dichotomy of like doing the union game, you know, and versus the non-union game with the potential maybe to get more bread, and then the whole idea of, you know, coming in and not really knowing.
I see people in the comment section taking context. I said, look, I never said that. I literally said, as justified, she shouldn't have took that $4,000. And it was rumored that, you know, Jason Schreier said that she was offered $4,000 a session.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just like, look, like, this is a, what's what I'm looking for? A very weird situation. Because at the end of the day, we don't know everything 100%, and it's just like, it's sad that like someone put in the chat, she poisoned her own well by not being transparent with everything that was going down. Because I still think that, you know, $4,000 a session is not much, like for what they do, and it's just like, but what do you possibly do from that? Do you refuse to do the work? Do you refuse to work into the industry until you get a unit? Like, because then at that point you're gonna have what happened last time, where some people break the picket fence and they get all the jobs. So it's just like, it's a fighting hell of a battle. Because I know for a fact that, you know, the hosting thing where you see people host events, they get paid more than that. So and it's just like, if they could go out there for a couple days, get paid that kind of money, why can't there be more of a conversation on the voices that bring the video game characters that we love to like?
That's all I wanted to say. And that was literally my boss. Because I just feel like we don't know everything here, right? But we I love what you said at it, because we got to be careful, because at the end of the day, like, you could play a game and yes, the graphics, we get it, right? We get all these other aspects, but there are iconic characters because of these voice actors and actresses,
for sure,
right? And for them to be, the pay scale to be that disparaging, the disparity between, as if what they doing is not really popping towards games. And I remember the uproar when there wasn't no Michael Ironsides. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the day something happened, God forbid, with Steve Downs, and there's a Steve Downs situation, and you don't hear that iconic voice for Chief, you know what I'm saying? Or there's a situation with a lot of, I'm telling you, gamers really care about that stuff. And I just don't want to get, I don't know all the specifics of who's lying here. And I'm going to be respectful of Jason. We know his report is official. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
but I just don't want to undervalue what voice actors and actresses do, and that they should try to fight for their bag. That's what I'm saying. Whether or not
I think I think it's a shame that all of them don't fight. Like, it's like some of them made it, and then they were like, look, like, that's your fight. And it's just like,
and
to me, if they all would come together, they would win in a day.
Yeah, and I mentioned,
it's just like, you're not going to realistically have that happen. And it's sad, man, because it's just like, I do feel like this particular incident was more on the actual actress. I don't know. The way I get the vibe, they didn't want to work with her. You know, they offered her that as, you've done this to our franchise, you know, here's our offer, and she should have just took that and left. You know, and speak about it when it comes out. You can even say boycotting, because I don't think she was wrong in saying you should boycott the game because she felt they did her wrong. Where I felt like she went over the line is when you started attacking another person playing the character that you denied the paycheck for. So it's just like that's it's a gray area, man.
Yeah,
it's a hard area to navigate through, and I hate it for a lot of these people. And then apparently, like, if you want to get paid like decent money, you have to play multiple people. And it's just like, look, like, you got to be more vocal with that stuff. Like, I've always said it over and over again. Social media will make multi-billion-dollar corporations cave long before stances like, I'm not going to take that. If she would have collectively went to like an IGN or something with like 10 of her friends that's been through something similar, and you start running with that story, that's going to get way more public than coming out. Because first off, you waited till Bayonetta was about to drop, so it looked like you was doing something intentionally to hurt Bayonetta. instead of coming out there, because you're gonna break the NDA regardless.
Yeah, that
so
NDA,
you might as well have done it months ago.
Broke. Yeah, that NDA is broke. That's for sure.
And I hate to think, I do think that she's blacklisted. She will never work in this industry again. She not only did she leave out information, she came out openly and said for another actress that is just looking to
I didn't like
just
that part.
looking to work.
I didn't like
that she had no right to sign stuff.
Yeah, I did
and it's
not
just
like that part.
The part that just irritates me. That's the part that just I can't get down with her with. It's like, you didn't write the character, so you don't even really have the right to go out there and write saying you're Bayonetta. You voiced Bayonetta, and they allow you to go out there and sign stuff. But if all sense of reality, the person who wrote Bayonetta should have been signing those posters. It's just you voiced them. So it's just like it's a hard thing. I do feel like there's some form of entitlement with this situation. I do feel like she is entitled to want more money, but at the same time, there's a line, and I do feel like she crossed it by saying the person who did take the money, that you had no right taking that money. You should have let Bayonetta die. Like,
it's a tattoo. It's a tattoo. I mean, y'all got all the bars I wanted to get off. I just wanted to hit y'all with that joint. Yeah, I just, look, on one aspect, she put herself out there. There's going to be repercussions with that. On another aspect, I do feel that maybe this shines a light on what's going on with all this undisclosed aspects of pay and as far as voice acting and voice actresses. And, hopefully they could fight for a bigger bag. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the iconic characters that we love, straight up. Like,
I think that's the conversation that needs to happen. And it's sad that it's marred by this. And like, the same thing that Attic said that I mentioned last week as well. It's just like, I don't want to see the press soapboxing for this stuff. I want to see the people that it's affected soapboxing for this stuff and come together to fight, And I know that's easier said than done, but honestly, you do especially the climate that gaming is in right now, trying to get away from all the bad actors at whatever Activision, whatever Ubisoft, all that stuff. Like, you coming together as a collective to say, hey, we need to be better about this is not going to get the same reaction that it used to, where they just blacklist you and you fire you or whatever, and nobody says anything. That's not going to happen anymore.
The sad part about it is the gaming industry in general is very sensitive to anything. If you come out, you can get fired just by speaking an opinion on Twitter. You can get fired for speaking on toxic environments that you work in. You can get fired on doing just about anything. And the fact that NDAs are thrown around so loosely in the industry, like the moment anything wrong goes wrong, make her sign an NDA. We're like, she gonna shut up. She ain't going outside this room and talking our business.
She had an NDA. She was willing to.
And it's just like, I feel like that might be more the issue that stuff don't get fixed, because when you have these other actors and actresses trying to make it in this industry, they can't come out there because they're too scared to lose their spot in the industry. And then you put that on people that's been doing it for years, and that's their only source of income, and that's the only thing they know. I don't blame them for not wanting to be vocalizing about stuff like that, because it's like, look, they might not like the scenario they're in, but they're looking at the future. I can't get to that future if I start throwing out stuff now and I get blacklisted before that even happens. And it's just like the stuff that you're seeing with Sony, where people are not even asking for God of War reviews because they know Sony's, because apparently there was an outlet that said that they didn't. Well, apparently, like, what happened was Sony gave them a Ratchet and Clank review, and they said things they didn't like about it. And when they asked about it in the email, Sony PR said, we didn't like your tone. So they didn't. Yeah, Escapist. So they didn't even ask for a God of War review, because they're like, look, I reviewed your game. I don't care how you like my tone or not. And we've seen Sony on multiple occasions, like, I wouldn't say censor, but they're being selective on who they give information out to, who they give review copies to. And it's just like, when stuff like that happens, like influencers, a lot of people wonder why influencers roll the way they roll. The same reason the voice actors roll the way they roll, because all it takes is one bad tweet and you blacklist it from the whole industry.
Yeah, it's real out here in these streets. That's all I got. Flame, anybody else got anything else before we move on from the Bayonetta 3 updated controversy situation?
It's funny. We kept getting updates to old controversies. That's been like the news for the past month.
Yeah, it's been those
Speaking of which, coming up next,
there will be another one.
This is literally like what do they call when you update a story like on the news and stuff? I don't know. It's literally every topic we have is an updated story. I can't help it. It's all that they're talking about, guys. Like, you know, they ain't a lot to really talk about unless I want to talk about Gotham Knights' bad game for 30-40 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, we got a couple super chats. Let me play with your joystick.
Oh!
$2 super chat. Stop. Can I be your persona waifu?
I was wondering where they were.
Then we have done Otaku, $5 super chat. What's this? The internet overreacted to hearing one side of the story, and then it ended up being a lie.
Oh man,
this is unprecedented. No one's saying it was a lie. We just did.
That'll be a messy. I see you, dog.
And we got Mr. Nichols, $5 super chat. This is the same company that screwed Xbox on Scalebound. I believe her.
He rotted. That's right.
Then we have Splendiferous member for 12 months. Addict, I smell what you're putting down, but I stand with homegirl in this situation. Let me finish it. Not right for her to say boycott. At the same time, if it was your girl, it was your girl.
Why can't it be your girl?
I mean, I would be very blessed to have a girl doing voice acting like that, but that's besides the point. Look, we got to get to the point where it's like, I can still agree with the message she got there. I just don't agree how she did it.
Oh, shout out to A-Rodimus gifting them 5 ILP memberships.
Yes.
Salute.
If I honestly and truly feel like she could have got her point across, and it didn't look like all it really looked like the way she did it. She was salty the game was coming out. She was trying to sabotage the game.
And that's the thing. The tone was salty.
I have. If 6-7 months ago she came out and she was vocal about what happened, then it would be like, look, okay, you break, but she strategically waited till the game was about to come out before she made any kind of statement because she wanted to sabotage the game. This story shouldn't have been about Bayonetta 3. It should have been about the money that went into paying her for Bayonetta 3. Instead of tackling it from that situation, she said, look, they didn't give me what I wanted, boycott it. Let's let the game flop. Then it's like, why would you even care about her signing posters on Bayonetta 3 if you didn't care about the game succeeding for a third one? So you don't care about Bayonetta as a character. You care about you playing Bayonetta as a character.
I think it all comes down to whatever comes to the backlash she's getting now. I think it comes down to the fact that she talked way too much. I think that first video that she made, the one that started the whole thing, I think that was fine. It could have given her a good sympathetic angle,
right,
to a degree. But the one that she started talking more and more, and some of the responses she gave, that's the whole reason why this is starting to flip on her head. And
she had 3 videos, I believe, right?
Yeah, and if you get in trouble, it's just don't talk too much. Only say what you need to say, and only respond if you're asked something. Don't go too far.
And I honestly feel like if she would have just made this about how she felt unjust on how she got paid, then I feel like for the majority of the point, even when they dropped the other foot, she should have been very vocal about if Jason Schreier is right, getting paid $4,000 a session. That's way different than being $4,000 for the entire set, all the sessions. And I feel like she tried to okay, I got paid $4. I'm not going to mention it was for each session. And it's just I agree. They deserve more money. Apparently Jason Schreier said she asked for $100,000, plus or something like that. It's just there is a point where your ego is probably judging what's realistic and what's not realistic. And I do feel like she felt like she deserved $100,000 because the game made $450 million. Apparently all of them did. It's just but you're not all that profit isn't just paying you. It's paying the artists that drew the game. It's paying the other voice actors of the franchise, which is interesting. None of them talked about it at all. The one that replaced her said she's not going to talk about it. And it's just it's paying the programmers that's programming the game, the marketing that's going into the game. Like, it's not just simple. It made $450 million. I should have made more money. You were the prime person that did it. You should have made more than they offered you. But it's just like, that's as far as that should have went.
It's going to be a very interesting situation, man. Jason got bars for that, too. And I'll just read one last one he said, because I forgot to mention it. He said, clearing up 2 misconceptions. As a voice actor, 4K for 4 hours doesn't actually translate to 1K per hour. Consider taxes, agent fees, expenses, and unpaid time between gigs. 2, full Bayonetta sales aren't public, but it's niche. Bayonetta 2 on Switch sold 1 million, less than most Nintendo games. Then he goes on to say, agent fees are absolutely not paid by the hiring side. And unpaid time between gigs is something that has to be taken into account when comparing the pay of a job like this to a normal salary position.
Okay,
so
Bayonetta 2 on Switch selling 1 million copies, a game that originally released on the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
He said
that's a lot.
But he said lower than most Nintendo games.
Right, but it's a re-release.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is the only thing I kind of disagree with a little bit is like the paid between gigs, because like it'd be different if you was going, like if you was staying, let's say that someone is always going to be voice acting like a particular company like 2K, Nintendo. That's one thing, but I feel like these people they could jump around as much as they want. So it's just like, if you don't work 6 years and you go from like 2K to like, let's say Microsoft, should Microsoft have to pay you more money because you weren't working that 6 years because you didn't get any other gigs? Like, I feel like that's a gray area. Should companies be responsible because you didn't get any other gigs before?
I get your responsibility, but also we can't underestimate opportunity. If there's no opportunities, let's say you interviewing and you losing out, or you runner up a couple times, you don't land other gigs. You know what I'm saying? So now you go through a stretch. Maybe I'm just guessing. I'm not saying this is happening. You know what I'm saying? That you go through a period where it's like, you're just not getting gigs. Like, you try to land a joint, so now you finally get your next joint. So you like, you know what I'm saying? I got to try to cash out a little bit.
That's what it was. She hasn't worked a whole lot in since the Bayonetta franchise, and I think she was just trying to get that big paycheck. And remember, it ended up blowing up in her face.
And remember, they don't get residuals, because so if the game blow and you voice a character that's now iconic in the way they negotiated their union, they don't get no residuals. So this game exceeds expectations. You get no bag for that.
Doesn't Rockstar? I think they paid their voice actor residuals. Yeah. Because GTA 5, I heard that one of the people in GTA 5, like, he hasn't worked at all because he's been living off those residuals on GTA 5.
It could be. It depends on, from my understanding, if it's union or non-union and what the negotiations were on that. But I just wanted to throw that in because I forgot to mention that. Guys, I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I mean, again, it's one of those things where it's like you have certain guidelines that these companies go by, right? And as we've seen, they're kind of on the low side. Every different artist has the right to sort of negotiate within those guidelines and go beyond those guidelines. But again, what I feel is like, if a Troy Baker or a Jennifer Hale or whoever, these more Nolan North, if they get beyond whatever those base guidelines are, right? I just don't see them joining that fight to make sure other people, right? And it is that thing of like, there's too much silence around this, and to me, Jason Schreier or other people writing articles about it. And again, I love Jason. I love the fact that when it comes, people can say whatever they want about Jason. When he comes with facts, he's looking for facts.
Yeah,
and the reporting, and when he's wrong, he's gonna say he's wrong.
Facts.
So the fact of the matter is that ultimately, it's sad that the conversation around this is this and what she said and how she said it, as opposed to, hey, we all need to fight for this together. Right. And I don't know that conversation is ever going to happen. That's the part about it that's kind of crazy.
I don't think it's going to.
Kyle Flanders said, y'all talking too long on this. Y'all going.
Well, good thing we choose how long we talk about something, not you.
Y'all going in circles now. How dare y'all talk about the topic?
But it's just like, look, like,
how dare we talk about stuff that people super chatted that they wanted our opinions.
I mean, he's not wrong on this, but it's just like, look, like, this is a very like broad spectrum like topic. It's not just like a simple like this CMA bull snap we about to talk about. It's literally like we're just gonna repeat half the stuff we said the past 2 weeks.
No doubt. They throw in AKW, said time.
You're tired of this.
No doubt. So we got any more?
Yeah, hold on a second. We got a couple more. We got no. Actually, hold on. I have to go back to the main thing.
No doubt, no doubt.
We got Donald Taku, $5 super chat. Also, I'm pretty sure Bayonetta will have less dialogue in 3 versus the previous games because she has to split screen time with the new main character. That's another thing. So they were moving. Feels like they're moving on from Bayonetta as the main character, or at least maybe for the next couple of games, whatever the case may be. So I don't know. Carl Andrews Jr., $5 super chat. If this is how you treat this Bayonetta 3 opportunity, you can forget about Halo 6.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we get.
No doubt. Let's get to it. Spicy one. Very spicy one. Let me fix my screens. We got some visitors here. You know what I'm saying? Lords of Gaming.net.
Yeah, someone snuck in.
You know what I'm saying? Fully represented right now. The LOGNET in the building. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. It's a beautiful thing. The LOGNET's here. But yeah, we got to get to it, y'all. We got to get to it. I mean, the long-standing UKCMA, Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard King, deal or no deal, adequate or no adequate. And now we asking for public assistance, y'all. Public assistance has been asked for. Let's get right to it. This is the juiciest thing right now. You know what I mean? So look, man, shout out to LordCognito right now. Just got to shout y'all out in the building. Lord Steve Perry in the building. Salute, sir. And check your levels real quick before I start talking. How your levels, sir?
Hello.
There we go.
I want to sound good.
Where's my song, man? Where's my song? What's going on? Appreciate it.
No doubt, LOGNET in the building, thoroughly represented. But we got to get to it. So, shout out to GamesIndustry.biz, man. The CMA calls on the public for its views on Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. UK regulator said that open comments can be provided for its eventual provisional findings. And yeah, this comes a week after they released a statement which kind of detailed its concerns over the merger and dismissed Xbox arguments over aspects like Call of Duty exclusivity. At this point, UK regulator says, we invite anyone, including members of the public, to share their views with us. So yeah, this has been a hot one, and things have resonated, and our very own Lord Steve has jumped in. So I'm gonna start with you because you actually had an open letter on LordsofGaming.net in reference to this. So one, what are your thoughts on them opening it up to the public first? And then two, let's talk about what you wrote, which has literally broken our site and gone viral right now. So let's start with the first part. What do you think about the decision to open it up to the public?
Well, number one, I do not envy whoever it is who's manning that email address right now, because I'm sure he's been getting a lot of just basically hate messages from fanboys on both sides, just saying like, "Oh, you're an idiot for even talking about this." But I think that honestly, I think it was a really cool opportunity, even just to be from somebody from across the ocean who will also be affected by their decision, being able to kind of chime in and just share my 2 cents or 20 cents because it was kind of a longer piece. So it was. I think it's cool that that's part of their process for folks like me to be able to just share our thoughts.
No doubt. And then your piece, which is invoked a lot of positivity, I would say, overall. I felt like the feedback I've seen has been, I think even just for Windows Central or retweeted you, said well written. A lot of people felt that you articulated your points very well. For those who haven't read it, and we encourage you, go to LordsGaming.net right now and get your behind over there and read that. But
links in the chat. You
got to let my man Flame. Editors in the building, editorial in the whoa! Look at editorial shot. Go ahead. But yeah, go check that out, man. Excellent read. But just like to summarize, to paraphrase, right? What's your mindset coming in? Because one of the things that you mentioned was that your decision making on coming into this generation played a part as well. So enough for me talking for you. You're feeling kind of on that.
Yeah. Well, appreciate it. And first of all, I got to shout out Hogla. I feel like over the last, since this thing got started, I've just learned so much about the process from him and so much about what regulators actually look at. And so I think like I said, real and brief, because I don't want to take up the next hour or so, just kind of giving the breakdown of the article in full. But to get in brief, I just think that it hits like I kind of hit the 3 points of concern that the CMA kind of noted that they were looking at, which was how it was going to impact competition in consoles, how it was going to impact competition in subscriptions, and how it was going to impact competition in like a future of cloud gaming. And I kind of just talked about how, in my view, the potential benefits of this transaction are greater than the potential risks, and also more likely. And like when I talked about the consoles, like I talked about how, you know, with Sony and with its current kind of market dominance, is able to make some decisions that aren't to the benefit of consumers, but are to the benefit of them as a company, which is their job, right? Just to benefit themselves. And I talked about how, you know, if this acquisition were to lead to closer competition between the consoles, then, you know, then Xbox would not just become a strong competitor, but a threatening competitor, and Sony would have to start to compete for its consumers' dollars a little bit harder, which is going to benefit both Sony's consumers and Xbox's. I also just talked about, you know, without going into too much of how much I am a fan of the service, I talked briefly about how I think that Game Pass is going to be, that Game Pass being a stronger, even taking a stronger market position in subscriptions doesn't mean that Xbox is taking a stronger market position in the market as a whole.
Gotcha.
So like, even if it becomes a dominant subscription, it doesn't mean that Sony's not going to be able to compete in other ways. And then the last thought, which I thought was kind of like addressing their weakest point of concern for them, was about the future of cloud gaming. Because I think that like that is such like a new technology, and, you know, consumers haven't really adopted it en masse to any extent yet. And so one of the things that I learned from Hogue is that, typically speaking, a regulator is really reticent to kind of snuff out a potentially growing industry or potentially growing consumer option. And so I kind of pointed out how, like, you know, this cloud, you know, maybe in some hypothetical future, cloud will be dominant and Microsoft will be dominant in cloud, but we're way too far away from that for you guys to be making decisions that might end up kind of slowing or preventing consumer adoption of a technology that might benefit the industry in the long run. So that's the article in brief there.
All right, the bars. I see the bars. Anyway, let's get flamed, man. LordCognito, man. Obviously, you read Lord Steve's article, and I want to focus first on the public part. You know what I'm saying? I want to get your thoughts on that. Like, what was your thoughts when you say, yo, CMA said, if you want to talk about this, we hear you. So what are your thoughts on that part?
So did we even hear a peep from the CMA about the Bethesda deal?
Not necessarily, but in fairness to the CMA, from my understanding, this going public is not unprecedented. They have done this before. So that's the only thing which I was surprised to hear, Flame, to be honest. Like, I was like, wow, this is something they do. Like, okay, but continue.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, man, why did you guys only speak up now? You guys could have spoke up last time, but hey, whatever.
Hold on, they asked for the link to Lord Steve's article. Hold on, I got you.
Scroll
right
up, guys,
there, bam.
Scroll up. It's up.
I just put it in again, so they asked you. Continue.
But anyways, back to what I was saying though. It's just like, it's weird because while I do like the idea that the authorities because they are the authority on like the whole deal in their specific region, like I actually appreciate the fact that they do want to listen to the people who would be affected by this, aka PlayStation fans mostly, and then Xbox fans who, you know, might want to get more out of their, you know, Game Pass deal and everything like that. That's, you know, it's good to see them actually doing that, but at the same time, it's kind of worrying that they can't just take the overall evidence that's been provided to them by both parties affected, you know, PlayStation and Xbox, and just kind of make a decision on their own. It's kind of weird, and it feels like it's more trying to create an entire like media circus than anything else.
Implying that they don't want to take the information presented by both parties involved? Or?
It's just really weird. Like, obviously, if they didn't do this, we wouldn't have gotten Steve's awesome piece. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you had people like Hoaglaw making literally an all-day stream, literally just breaking down everything that's coming out of this. And it's just kind of, it's gotten to the point where it's just like, you guys just got to budge. Just look at everything. If you want to block it, I'm sure Xbox will take you to, Microsoft will take you to court. I keep trying to separate them. Like, Microsoft will take you to court over it and see if it gets overturned, because historically a lot of their conclusions have gotten overturned anyways, so it's not like it's going to be that much of a big deal. The only thing that I would actually want to look out for is other regions like the regulatory bodies and the FTC. I kind of want to see what they would do.
Yeah.
In this exact situation, it's like the CMA wants to get more of like a publicity stunt going because they're kind of like a smaller region anyways. But it's important that they do their due diligence, and I do want to see what's going to happen with the FTC because that's going to be an even more interesting thing because the US is much bigger and there's more spicy politicians in there these days. So
this is going to be an interesting development as this thing continues to plague out in the media sphere. Lord Addict, are you spitting your bars? Are you ready to get in front of the CMA and tell them how you feel? But overall, how do you feel about them opening it up to the public?
Look, man, since CMA is clearly viable, I'm viable CMA.
Oh, my Lord. Jesus.
I mean, clearly, you willing to listen to Sony, listen to Addict.
Oh, my Lord. Here we go.
My PayPal.
Here we go. Relax yourself, sir. Relax yourself.
I'll speak all positive. You PayPal me enough money, I'll say too. It's
not being bought for 10 pieces of silver, sir. Continue.
I don't know. You might not be bought for 10 pieces of silver. You can't speak for me.
Addict, get in the bag. That's it.
I've been waiting my whole life to be bought. I want to know how it feels.
Boy, quick to sell out. Let's go.
CMA is clearly taking paychecks.
Oh.
So, I don't know. Let's go.
Wow.
My email is in the description, CMA.
You are ridiculous. Continue.
For a little bit more, my Twitter could be bought too.
You are out of control.
That's all I got to say.
That's all Addict could be bought. That's all I got to say. Moving on.
Tired of talking about it, man.
I think you talked about this on the Addict show too.
It's nothing really.
1 week.
It's like at this point, it's just like it's a joke. It's a parody. So it's just like if something like that's happening, the only thing I can think of is people being bought. So that's why I'm saying I am available, CMA. And Sony, if you drop it a little bit more of a paycheck, all you got to do is send me a review go for God of War. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, this guy right here going to shut his mic off in a minute. He out of pocket. Other than that,
Addict's views is not the reflection.
Yes, not the representation of the entire podcast. These are Addict's views.
But when we do that, when I get that bag, it's only my bag. It's not their bag.
Yeah, he's playing. No doubt.
In order for it to be in everyone's bag, in order for it to be in everyone's bag, my views got to be Iron Lord's podcast, but it's not. So it's just my bag.
Fair enough. And Addict has spoken, so clearly gonna move on. Lord Solve, opening up to the public.
Remember, Sony, my PayPal is in the description.
Time on Addict, sell it out. Lord Solve, your feelings on this situation.
I don't know, man. This feels like a real beta boy situation to me, man. Put the beta boys up there because the CMA wants us to do their job for them. I don't understand this. Before this deal goes 1.0, they gotta have our input on it.
The deal is in early access right
now.
It's in early access.
Are you implying?
So you know what my input on this is?
This is not a fully.
PayPal's in the description.
This is not a fully finished organization. This is not. We're in the alpha and the beta of this.
We're in the alpha and the beta stages of your ABK. You know what I'm saying? 1.0 is not upon us yet. This is just. This is baffling to me, and I appreciate Steve's article and his story because he outlines all of the sort of everything that we as gamers, reasonable gamers, see as sort of like, listen, you guys you're focusing on things that essentially what you're saying is in order to stop a perceived change in sort of perceived attack on competition now, you're willing to destroy potentially where the entire industry is going. And so I I read the article, I read his letter, and I appreciate everything about it because I think it is necessary that they get that point of view. Mm-hmm. Like we were discussing before we went live, it's like I am so tired of this because we're talking about things that we should have no idea are going on. Mm-hmm. None of this, like, and this is what bothers me. And not to say, like, I appreciate that the peek behind the curtain, right? Mm-hmm. But it's gotten so petty in sort of the public forum that I'm just done with it. Because ultimately, I think what happens is that the deal goes through, and the deal goes through with some concessions in terms of
what if PS4 Pony 66 and Xbox 334 could they write the strong, compelling argument? And they get Steve out of there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Out of it.
Listen, man, Xbox 436 and PlayStation Pony 236.
You know what I
had them bars ready.
At that point, they only got one person to blame for that. That's Sony for not backing that truck up and getting my PayPal. Hey, you could have had addicts on your side, Sony, but you chose not to.
Oh my Lord, continue.
This is the funny thing about it too, right? I don't recall if it's them, CMA, that have made statements. They made statements that have pointed directly to what influencers have said, like, oh, this person's Twitter page, they indicated this and they got this sort of response. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? First of all, I was super shocked when I saw the CMA posting on Twitter. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Yeah, we're looking into this thing. Don't worry about it. Like, and I'm like, this was months ago, and I'm like, what the hell? Why is this out there like that? Like this, none of this makes any sense. And I'm just, again, I did not mind the peek behind the curtain to see what's going on, because hopefully what it was supposed to do is show everyone that's commenting on this that don't trust companies. They all do what they have to do to get what they need to get done in their best interest for their shareholders. For at the end of the day, don't trust them. Right? You should not put your trust in them in that way. Be critical of the things you love, because chances are they're lying about something, and that's just a fact of it. So again, I'm really done with this conversation, and this to me was like the tipping point, the straw that broke the camel's back.
We gotta go to the public, son. We gotta find out.
Your job for you.
I need to go to the dude in the street on Twitter and find out what he's saying about this.
It's like Jim Ryan saying, "Yo, there's nobody over here that could do anything like Call of Duty. There's nobody. There's nobody on the CMA that could research this and get real answers behind the scenes." Listen, if you want to poll people behind the scenes, go ahead, do this. Don't be like, hey, write to this email address, and like, again, they've done it already.
Ifyouhearme.com. Send that email. I'm just joking.
They've done it already, and I hope the majority of, and this is hope against hope here, right? Because we're talking about Twitter, and we're talking about. My hope is that the majority of responses are measured and logical, much like Steve's.
That's like Steve, yes.
That is asking a lot, though.
That's all my bars were. That's why I thought this was the most hilarious thing ever. Because you're going to get the entire fanboy narrative infiltrating
the fanboy cabal.
Yeah, like it's literally gonna be like, oh, word, we can sway this.
Oh my God! Like, what if Jim told them that? It's like just leak it online. Just say like, I need your help. It's like, all right, trotting up. Hold on, 1 second.
That joint is funny to me. Now, granted, obviously we got the amazing Steve here. Articulated his points very well. Very respectful, by the way, sir. Very, very respectful. Not full of emotion and all type. But if you read, people read the article, you see
intelligently written, very well written.
But the sad part is, we know they're not going to be a lot of articles like this. They're going
to be like, hey, yo,
Xbox ain't got no games. The SSD is trash for PlayStation. And they're going to have the avatars with the pictures. The dudes with the pictures. They're going to put
emojis in a proper letter.
Like, dudes going to have their jersey on when they writing it. And I feel for the CMA. I feel for the person or the department that's fielding them emails that he got to deal with this because they about to learn. They gonna learn today how this go.
Whoever's bright idea this was is getting fired.
They got no idea the hornet's nest that is gaming Twitter, man.
Facts. It's just because gamers are out of pocket.
I love it.
You love it, Attic. You love it.
I love the gaming Twitter.
Gaming Twitter is out of pocket. I just thought this was the funniest thing ever, so I had to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They gonna learn, guess huh?
It's just funny how it escalates every week. You think they're done, right? And it's gonna get quiet,
like
and they're just gonna
30-minute drama every week.
Bro.
Yeah, it really is like a subsequent episodes of 24, right? It's just the next hour, the next hour.
Yeah.
Maybe they sub the LP. Who knows?
Yeah. No, look, man. Again,
I want to hear us talk.
Salute.
The next episode of ILP.
Salute
Come
them.
back next week and find out how the Bayonetta drama concluded.
Oh, facts.
And who knows?
Dragon
Maybe
Ball
CMA will finally get that last season.
I ain't
that
gonna
they
front.
asked
Yes, I am
for.
tired of these two topics.
Yeah,
I am
so
sick
tired
of
these
them.
two
Trust me,
topics.
I am sick of them. But it's the gift that keeps giving. It continues on. And then tune in next week. You know what I'm saying? Or CMA House of Dragons and see who's gonna play who. That's what it is.
I will tell the Rome right now,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a development in CMA or Bayonetta next week, I won't be available.
No doubt. Let me get Lord Flame and Lord Steve.
I do gotta say one thing.
Yes, please.
I am honored because for the first time in my life,
Talk to him.
I had the PlayStation mob on Twitter come after me for my work, and that just seems like
You made it, baby. You made it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've elevated.
Yo, you got that hate, that good hate. When they make the video about you, they clip and they put the video, and then it's all the Iron Lords crying, and like when you get down, you lit, bro. You made it, bro. You about to cash out. Don't even worry about it.
I'll get there one day.
You know the meme where it shows like the Pirates thing, and he's about to get hung, and the other dude gets up and he's like, "Oh, your first time?"
yeah, fact. Steve, that's what I said. Remember, I hit you. I was like, "Welcome to breaking the internet." Now, salute to you, brother. Well written, well
I
elocuted.
make them ad like once a week. So
They
so
be
rookie
mad.
numbers,
Yeah,
man.
they don't
So
like
rookie numbers.
addict
I'm just
support.
getting my feet wet.
Just getting your feet wet. They got Flame. Man, Flame got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had to move, man.
yeah, they got you.
Anyways.
Which article was it too? I forgot. It was another joint.
It was here's the thing.
Oh, the PlayStation is.
Yeah.
The morally, the whatever.
But it's like with Steve's situation, it's so weird because it's just a professionally written letter. Wow, what the heck?
No, you go.
It's a professionally written letter to the CMA. Like it's literally just his perspective on everything that's intelligently written. Like I told him even on Twitter, I was like, dude, I am jealous how good this piece is. It's amazing.
Nah, facts.
It is.
And he got people coming at him for that.
I love it.
And it's like, okay. And then I just write a piece about how concerned I am.
If they were going to come at you anyway, man, you should have just had King Ghost write it.
King would have been blasting that joint. You already know how he do. He put a video because King like to ball for them. See, King, I don't got time for them. Like King he got time to really play with them and
he enjoys
getting them in their feelings. And it's funny. That's why I do miss him for this subject. He
for
would have
sure.
went off on this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
man.
salute.
Listen, I remember the time when I told everybody they were frauds for not playing Hades before it came to Game Pass. That was a little bit of smoke compared to anything that King does. And by the end of that week, I was done. Like, no, I don't want any more of this. I'm good.
They was mad at you with the what was it? The ant joint? When you said what was it, Addict? When we go on TikTok, we was lit. What was it? He said
you said they're gonna have to take them in water they can't follow.
Yeah, nuke with the
gotta
ant.
kill an ant.
Don't you say that?
Atom bomb or
Don't
something
you
like
say
that.
that to the PlayStation base? So you were publicly enemy number
crazy?
one after that.
When I
then
heard
with me
that,
with
I
they
was
don't like me with the acquisition. Sorry, continue.
when I heard that, I was like, "That's a TikTok video." So I put it up, and I've never seen a video get real TikTok traction.
Yeah,
but I put that up, so I'm sitting there playing a Fortnite game, and it's got 10 likes. I'm like, okay, 10 likes. So I play a Fortnite game, come back 30.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that seems realistic. So I play another game, come back 100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So then it had like 1,000 views. So I just refresh it. Like I'm not even joking. I literally just do this one time. Just refresh. 3,000.
Yeah.
Refresh it again.
Feelings is
5,000. Refresh it again. 7,000. I'm like, oh, so this is what TikTok does. Like,
feelings are real.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes be in their feelings. It's funny to me, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you again, Lord Steve, pulling up for the topic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Chilling. And we get these, what you call it? We got any super chats?
Yeah, we got a couple, I think. Hold on a second. I copied these. Angry Hippie, $5 super chat. Loving Persona 5 on Game Pass. I'm about the punk rock doc.
All right.
Then we have CJ0, £6 super chat. Craig from Ireland here. Shout out to the Lords.
Oh, I was out there.
No, so it's not pounds, it's euros.
Wait, hold on. That's my man. Wait, you said Craig from Ireland?
Craig from Ireland.
Oh,
Shout
that's
out
the
to Lords.
homie. Hold on. That's my OG. Hold on. That's the dude. I was good out there. You know, I had checked in. You know what I'm saying? Craig made it lit for me on Dublin. That's the homie.
Nice,
Salute.
nice.
That's what's up, man. You already know.
You see what Tim Dog's doing?
Oh yeah, he's back and forth with BG.
They coming at him so hardcore about Persona right now. He said, "I'm gonna buy myself a Persona 5 R shirt to wear at E3."
Real quick, shout out to Craig. Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all ain't had Guinness till you go to Ireland, y'all.
Yeah, of course.
Right now, Guinness is official. Jameson is official. I learned a lot. I learned when you drink the joint, you got to stop between the harp and the thing. Craig is official, man. I'm good. Every time I go out to Ireland, I'm good. I'm hollering at my mans right there. Continue.
Let's get Craig on one day.
Yeah,
I get
I'm down for that. He's a hardcore.
I gotta
guy.
vocalize a little bit of annoyance with Jason Schreier sometimes.
What happened now?
So I'm sitting here during the podcast. I'm like, yo, because I have him like belled. Because when he says something, probably it's a video. So I see it pop up. I'm like, yo, Jason Schreier says something. We about to break the internet. We live right now. Look on it. He's talking about Tom Brady. I'm like, come on, Jason Schreier.
You talking about them sports,
like,
baby?
You talk about games. Make another Twitter for sports nonsense. Like you don't need to cross stream those.
Yeah, he into football. So I know that.
Yeah, that's his joint.
You know what? He can be into football, just not on my time.
Ridiculous. Moving on. Super chats, please.
We got NC Ghost of Low Road, $2 super chat. If that bag is right, I'll say bring back the Walkman.
I don't know about that. It'd take a big bag for me to do that. I ain't trying to have it. You drive it and it skips 8-9 times. Maybe the iPod. The original iPod.
No doubt. AKW, I tried, brother. I got caught up with work, man. Mad people hit me up when I was out there. But yeah, next time I will be back. Continue.
Then we have Cassandra M, $10 super chat. CMAs forgot Activision wanted to sell. If the deal is blocked, who's buying them? Tencent? Is Sony lining up for all the exclusives? And what about employees suffering under Bobby Kotick? That is.
You know what's funny?
I don't think that's stuff that's being talked about. You can't really be like, yeah, well, we're buying them so we could get rid of this guy. I don't really think you can say that.
You know what the funny thing too is? I wonder if like this happens, or like Tencent or Sony tries to buy them. I wonder if the CMA, because at that point, Microsoft, man, you do what Sony did. Pull that bag back, man.
What else we got?
That is it. We're caught up. I think once I just make sure I'm not lying to y'all.
You're funny.
Nope, we're good.
We're good to go. All right, man. This is the last one, and this, I believe, was King's topic. We got to talk about it, man. He wanted to talk about the Xbox Mobile Store. A lot going on in this. Microsoft, to Tom Warren from The Verge, he said Microsoft is building an Xbox mobile gaming store to take on Apple and Google. Microsoft Activision Blizzard is key to the company's mobile gaming efforts. Microsoft is quietly building a mobile Xbox store that rely on Activision and King games. So yeah, it looks like they are preparing to start this next generation store, and this was quietly revealed during the UK Competition and Market Authority situation. I'll jump in just to give some additional context. Yeah, as far as the thing that people have to realize too is that we all know Call of Duty is like the huge part of the deal. We understand the significance and the exclusivity. We're not going to minimize that. But I am glad King brought this up, because I think what is going under the radar is the King aspect of the deal, right? And them really trying to get into this space. And surprisingly, this doesn't seem what the CMA is concerned about as much. And this, when you look at, what they have there, and shout out to Tom Warner, he said, the CMA has barely discussed the potential for Microsoft's entrance into mobile gaming as part of its investigation, and is instead largely focusing on console gaming, which Microsoft argues is an increasingly smaller part of the overall market. And then we see how like Steam Deck and Xbox the cloud have gotten closer. We've seen how Epic and Microsoft have played nice now with Fortnite. We've seen the exponential growth. Well, I forgot what the percentage was. It was like over 100 something percent of Fortnite players playing on cloud and stuff like that.
It was like 1,800% or something like that.
Thank you for the correction, but like it's insane. And it's interesting to see again this development in the space. So wanted to bring King's topic into the realm. Start with Lord Steve first. What are your thoughts about Xbox Mobile Store and them really trying to put a stake in this aspect of gaming?
My first thought is I cannot believe that Microsoft's not pushing more on this point with the CMA, because we all know that every regulator in the Western world hates Apple, and every regulator in the Western world hates Google, and they want to use the law to slow them down or to make them break things up. But the law isn't on their side in that. I cannot believe that Microsoft's not going in saying like, hey, we can do what you can't. We can challenge these app stores. We can challenge the iOS app store. We can challenge the Google app store. It'll take us some time, but if we got these assets with us, that's going to be our way in. So that's kind of my first thought. My other thought is I think that Microsoft moving more toward the cloud future, both with King kind of being like the native mobile games, but then having the potential to have straight up like everything that I can play on my Xbox or on my PC, being able to play it on my phone, just like I'm like with like low latency and all that sort of stuff. That's a future that I want to be a part of. Not that I get out of my house too much other than for work, but I think that's a future that I want to be a part of. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this kind of materializes, and I hope that they're able to make this happen in a real good way.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely a big part of the deal, not getting talked about a lot. Lord Flame, what is your feeling on Xbox entering the mobile store market?
I really don't got much to say on it. Like, this is actually, like, whenever I looked at the title, it's like, I did not hear about this. I didn't do any proper research. So I guess as part of it, like, going with what Steve said, like, being able to, like, go up against, like, Apple and Google and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of like, that could actually be a really good talking point, but then it could also be like, I don't know, like they actually can, because what was it? Wasn't Google, or I think it was like either Apple or Google that was saying that Microsoft can't have like the game streaming app or something like that because because of the microtransactions, all that kind of stuff, and they want that piece of the pie, so they have to go through browsers for those phones. So it's like they could definitely take that angle with it, and I'm actually shocked that they haven't done that yet. But then again, the CMA is making this more about the console space, and I know Xbox does want to get exclusivity on this kind of stuff because they're dropping $70 billion freaking dollars. They got to get something out of this. So they could probably go with both points at one point, but at the same time, if they focus on the mobile angle, they'll go right back to the console angle anyways. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm not too harsh on this.
No, I feel your honesty on that, transparency on that. Yeah, it's very interesting, that it's multiple components of this deal, right? It's so much to it. It's Activision, Blizzard, the studios, the mobile, the King aspect, cloud. It's so much going on.
It's just Call of Duty. Call of Duty. It's only Call of Duty. There's only one video game.
It's all that matters.
Just one stagnant freaking shooter.
And just to see like the whole thing with the Xbox mobile game store and stuff like that, it's really interesting to me. But Lord Addict, what is your feeling on this game store? You're the big time mobile gamer. Let's go. Shaking his head.
He's like, that's cute.
It's what you do.
He's just like sitting there ready to punch.
It's what you do. You was getting what was it? You had what you call on your phone as dust falls. Mobile gamer.
That was an act. I hope you play the game.
Now you was hardcore. You streamed the whole thing mad hours. You a mobile gamer now.
I told you about the first off, it wasn't available at launch, so we're gonna cut that off right now.
You review the game.
I mean, I guess it's the same thing as like this or the last topic we talked about, the CMA thing, man. Like, look, like Xbox, I'm available. Like, I'm there, man. You know, you want it to be covered like crazy for the price of one me. Yeah, man. Look, I'm trying to cash out. Like, let's go. Nah, I mean, look, this is clearly where Microsoft's always wanted to go. Yeah. They want to be everywhere. It is what it is.
You a TikTok, get y'all done.
You know, there's actually games on Netflix. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now finish. You said this is where Microsoft wanted to go. I interrupt you. My bad.
They want to be everywhere. They want to. Yeah. Be on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, on your PC.
On the toaster.
They want to be an extension on your Google where you could just bring something up. I have been working on a video that focuses a little bit on streaming. So it's just like, if you like it, don't like it. Like, here's the thing: Microsoft isn't demanding you do it. They're like, look, we're trying to give you options. Shut up. Like, I don't never find an issue with options. Like, if you want my games on mobile, do that. If you want to play your games on, the Windows PC store, do that. If you want to play your games on Xbox, do that. Like, there's no downside.
It's the death of Twitter. Said it's the death of game, and the Xbox, Microsoft. This they trying to fight this. They got to stand up.
I think they're just trying to extend their reach to make more money. It's not necessarily. It'd be different. Now, I will have one. Okay, I have one negative notation with this. As long as it's not this PC nonsense where there's exclusive games on PC but not on Xbox. Yeah. No, it's just like, look, like you can't say
Gears
that
Part 2.
It's not that. It's I don't want a scenario where they're making exclusive games on some platforms but not others.
I feel you want that parity.
It's just like,
okay.
If you're gonna sit there and be where everyone can play it, be about that life.
Okay. Let me ask you this though. It's a good question. Good point. I like where you're going. What about, because Call of Duty Mobile, it's moving out here from my understanding, right? I don't play this thing, but I heard it's like crazy. So like you even have a problem with that in the sense that it's a different SKU. It's not the one-to-one game of Call of Duty.
I guess maybe part of me is like mobile might be a little bit different because that's going to be a different audience, but it's just like something like Gears Pop, like you was making fun of, that could have easily have been on Xbox, on PC. Like I think it was on PC. It was an app on PC, wasn't it? That you could have played on PC.
Okay.
It's just like, look, like my thing with Microsoft is like you can't play favorites, and I feel like sometimes Xbox hasn't had an exclusive since like 2015 or 16 or some crazy stuff like that. Halo's been Halo's like one of the only exclusives on the Xbox now. Halo 5. And it's just like you can't have that energy that you want everything to be on PC, but you want PC games to be only on PC, not Xbox.
Why PC can't see the bullets? I'm asking about move, but continue.
Okay, well that's my fears. They'll start making stuff only for mobile.
Oh, so you scared of the hot mobile game that don't come to Xbox?
It's just like I just want it to be symmetry. Everything works on everything. Like don't start this. We're gonna give you this game, and then kind of like they're doing with PC, because I feel like at that point. You're making the console gamers feel like second-class citizens. Everyone gets something, but that console people. I feel that. That's my only thing.
No doubt, fair.
I mean, we still have to pay for Xbox Live, and PC
for sure,
equivalent doesn't.
For sure. And
we didn't get Gears Tactics when it came out. PC got it exclusively. We didn't get
we got Gears
Age of Empires. PC got that exclusively. So it's just like it's a shame. It's like if they branch out into more areas, be better on making sure everything comes out at the same time.
I think that's a valid point.
It don't have to go to PlayStation though. I'm gonna make that
clear. Oh my god, it's moving. Oh yes.
It can skip PlayStation. Well, you know what?
PlayStation said they do it mobile. Well, relax yourself.
You know what, PlayStation? You know what, Microsoft? You can even release that on the Switch. Just skip that. Skip the PlayStation.
You are messy. Stop. Anyway,
I don't mind if Starfield has a Steam version that's on the Switch.
You're messy.
Just don't let it be on PlayStation. I got to be entertained that day. I got to be entertained.
You're ridiculous.
And we had to deal with Octopath Traveler too, so I completely feel that.
Oh no! You know what, man? That's a different story.
Yeah, he about to go off on that. Anyway, moving on.
I've moved on.
Lord Soft, man. This mobile store. What are your thoughts on Xbox venturing into the space?
I mean, this is always the plan.
But Microsoft, my PayPal's in the comments section.
This man's clearly trying to get bought off. Yeah, continue.
I don't care, but
But if you're gonna drop that bag for me to review the game,
I mean, this is always
For a little price, you can make me care.
moving on. We ain't getting bought out.
I didn't care about the Oculus.
The
but it was sent to me,
opinions
so I had
of
to
Lord
try it,
Addict
so-
do not reflect the entirety of LordsOfGaming.net and Iron Lord Podcast LLC.
You gotta get that disclaimer up at the beginning.
Let's
of every
put that
episode.
up
every
now.
episode now.
Yes,
Addict
this
is trying to
man,
get a bag.
this
That's
man
it.
trying to get a bag. Anyway, continue, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is always the plan, man. When you look at how the amount of variety they have to put into Game Pass to make it what it's become, right? And where they want it to go, you always needed this. You always and this. I said this like a couple years ago now, where it was like, don't be surprised you start seeing mobile games, like pure mobile games on Game Pass. At some
Mobile
point.
games, the death of the industry.
And this was before Activision Blizzard, right? This was, hey, if you want it to be everywhere, and you're talking about phones and the cloud and stuff as the platforms you want to, as the way you want to have Game Pass proliferate. Excuse me.
Proliferate. I got you.
And be as widespread and ubiquitous as you want it to be. Phones was always the play. So the fact that they're now looking into putting very phone-centric sort of products into, and I think it's not its own, they call it its own storefront, and I definitely see it, but at the same time, I do feel it's a part of Game Pass. Because to me, it's a Trojan horse, right? If you want people that aren't core gamers to care about Game Pass on a phone, give them the phone stuff, and then you Trojan horse the regular stuff and see if they latch on to it. That's how you really want to do it. Because honestly, even in its current state, if I'm just a pure phone gamer, I'm a casual gamer, I don't play consoles, I don't play on PC. If I'm gonna play something on phone, it's gonna be very phone centric. I don't see the motivation for me to go grab Game Pass from my phone, right? But if you Trojan horse that stuff in with the stuff they want to play, the Candy Crush and the COD Mobile and whatever else you can
Don't
get.
forget about the IOP bag we need.
The IOP
Trojan horse that on over to my front door.
IOP gotcha game that's
What
gonna
is
be
with
on.
this bag all of a
Man,
sudden?
that's the only way he gonna play these mobile games.
Yeah, that's the only way he's gonna play these mobile games.
So you want me to play some Candy Crush? I'm gonna need some candy on my front door.
Pause. Moving on.
and so that to me, again, this is just working towards their master plan. And they're doing it, right? So to Steve's point that he made, Microsoft is also looking to create a space that differentiates it from the Play Store and the Apple Store in a way that makes it look more appealing, obviously, to regulators, where there's certain practices on those stores that are not very developer friendly, consumer friendly. This is Microsoft's opportunity to be like, hey, you wanted to do in-app purchases, right, in your own app? Go ahead, do that. Go ahead, do that. Yeah, we got you. Don't worry about it. We'll eat that.
This is kind of, not to cut you, but this is kind of the whole Epic. What is it, the case? And this is what Tim Sweeney and
all that.
This is what they try to say. They want to make it better for developers on that part.
So the thing is, this is an opportunity for them to break into that space in a very real way by literally just saying, okay, you do this negatively, we're going to do the opposite. You do this negative, we're going to do the opposite. And to Steve's point, it's so fun. And I mentioned something similar, I think last week or the week before, where I was like, the Call of Duty argument is the sort of the stupidest baseline argument, because Microsoft is going for something much bigger, and you're ignoring that completely. Technically,
falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
And the banana in the tailpipe. Yeah, it's like, I'll show you with my hand, but my other hand is doing something.
Facts.
And it just really feels like this is the big play, right? This is the big play, and
the one that gamers don't care, the hardcore gamers don't care about.
Yeah.
But this is what the money men think about. Continue.
Exactly. The money men are thinking about, oh wow, if we get Candy Crush or whatever and other third-party support in this service that's in addition to Game Pass, and all of a sudden we're offering better revenue cuts and allowing these games to have their own in-app purchases and not taking a cut from that and just allowing them to live there and giving them a legitimate alternative to going to the Play Store and the App Store, where quite frankly, it's very easy for your game to get lost, right? Yeah. And Microsoft has already sort of figured out a way to have a lot of different games coexist and then bring to the forefront the newest stuff and the most. They're not perfect, but they've gotten much better about bringing all that stuff to the forefront in a way that these storefronts don't do at all. They have an opportunity there. Imagine.
Consider these storefronts, man. We gotta hurry up. I'm hungry. I need to go to the store to get some
Relax
food.
yourself.
All of a sudden, if we got to give them 5 hours, bro.
I had to go to another topic.
We good. You got me for 9 minutes and I'm out.
Continue.
So the fact of the matter is that this was always the play. It's kind of crazy to see it happening and to them really. Hey, we said we're going to do this. We're doing it, and the potential for what it can mean if they do it right, and they really do look at the deficiencies of these other stores and really make it a super friendly place for devs to work with and monetize their games. It's going to be very, very interesting. And again, you want to talk about a monopoly in something? You're looking at the wrong place. COD don't mean a damn thing.
Listen, man, it's funny because I always laugh.
But can Sony really speak on monopolies in a market they're not really in that much? So
no, but at least
they've indicated that they want to go to that market, right? They've tried.
You can really indicate anything. You know, I'm trying to go into the. I'm trying to go, when Fox is trying to buy, when Disney trying to buy a bunch of, I'm trying to go in, they are in that market. You get what I'm saying? You
that's the first time, though, Herman been public, though.
Like,
Herman Ho's been public, like, yo, we're looking to expand. And the fact that they don't look at the console market as sufficient.
That's because they probably have, like, low-key in the back. We looking to expand. And they're talking to CMA, look, man, we tried to get in the mobile market, but you let them get Call of Duty. We can't do it.
But this is the thing, though. The argument should be the bigger picture. But, like, look. Well, everything they're trying to do is going to put us out of business. Say that, or whatever the case may be. It's going. Well, what is the term that they use? Foreclosed on it. They're going to foreclose on us, or whatever.
Well, I think they would have a lot more of a stance to argue on that if they actually had like some of the market in that. Like it's hard.
All they have to say is we can't do what they do. That's all they have to say. We can't do it. Look what they're doing. We can't even hope to follow in their footsteps. How are we going to compete? That's how you win. I get
that, but I just feel like it would be hard for a company that's not in that industry just to come out and say, well, we're considering it, but Microsoft's already trying to buy stuff, so how are we really going to compete in an industry we're not in?
But the funny thing is they're not even Sony's argument is not even really
not even that.
Like they have really not attacked
I think that's the reason they don't attack it is because they don't have enough market share to say that it would not be competition. Because they don't know because you don't have numbers to go to the CMA and say, look, we're doing this now, and if they did that, we could do this then. So I think it would be hard to really have an argument saying they can't compete when they're not even competing yet. So.
I don't know.
Right, but the argument that they couldn't even hope to compete is the argument, right? That makes you look as weak as you possibly can look. And you want to look weak in the situation because you want to make a point. So this is the thing, like them having a sort of a horse in the race kind of doesn't matter, which is why it's weird to me they don't talk about it, because this is stuff that no way in hell they can follow the same way Microsoft is putting so much money into this. There's no way they could do that. And if Microsoft has its way and everything that they hope happens does happen, the reach of Game Pass and the different types of gamers that Game Pass reaches is going to be something that Sony does not want to see.
And that's what I'm glad you said that, because to me, that's what the real fight is. The real fight is one business model versus another business model. And one business model is retail, the single player experience, these rich, amazing games. No disrespect, right? They definitely make high quality games, and the way that model has worked for them up until this point. The other model with subscription service, play anywhere, entry point anywhere, is a direct threat to the way they've been doing business. So to me, that's really what the crux of this. Because if the gaming industry goes that direction, mobile, PC, everywhere, subscription, somebody ain't prepared to really go there. So the fight to do what you have to do to keep things status quo, I get it. I legit get it. Because at the end of the day, if the industry does shift that way, and for the people who say like, oh, why does people
want that? Can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
I actually feel like taking the subscription model hurts their case even more, because then it goes out of the console market and it's in the third party market, because then you can't argue that much, because Ubisoft's got one, EA's got one, so it's harder to argue a subscription base, because now they've taken themselves out of the console section and they're fighting on third party as well. There's definitely competition there, so it's harder to fight that.
Yeah, I think
it's just at that point, is there competition there, or Sony can't compete there?
Yeah, hello.
And they shouldn't care if Sony can't compete there. They should care if Microsoft buying that will make it to where subscription rate can't be, because at that point, Activision don't really got a subscription, so that's not going to hurt them at all.
The job of the CMA is to make sure that consumers get the best benefit. Their job is to protect the consumer.
But the consumer gets the best benefit, and that competition is preserved.
Correct. Absolutely. And
that's what I'm saying, man. CMA, Sony passing out checks. I'm there.
Relax yourself. And I think this is a philosophical battle happening right now. Here's the thing that people got to understand, and I know my OG hardcores don't like to hear this, but you got to look at the trends. Everything for the most part that is popping is now either going subscription service, free to play, and if they're not doing the 70, they're saying free, but you're getting the microtransactions and you're getting this other stuff on the back end, right? The reality is, and let's be real, as much as we love these amazing single-player games and things of that nature that I love, I'm #JustOne, I love those games, is that once you get that initial sale, what else can you get on the back end? Right? What else can you do to mine? That's why we see all these tricks with the loot boxes and all this other stuff, because companies are trying to figure out ways to get this money, right? And I just think that if the shift goes the way it is, because here's the deal, these kids, they're not buying the consoles, like they on their phones, they're doing these other things, right? And if the industry trends that way, right, eventually, you got to prepare yourself. You don't want to be a dinosaur completely incapable of being able to shift and adapt if it goes that way. Now, of course, there's always going to be a place for the single-player game. Of course, there's always going to be a place for these other games. But this is where the industry is trending. You just seen Overwatch change their joint, you know what I mean? The free-to-play. And for people who are saying, look at the engagement numbers. People saying this is the definition. Look at the revenue that's being made. Fortnite literally changed the industry. A single title. And forced crossplay. So we could sit here and fight, I don't want this, this is not. That's where it's going. Yeah. You could choose to get out of gaming if you like, because you don't like it. I get that.
I think you can argue if it's good or bad for gaming.
You can argue it's good or bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's happening. So you could be the old man throwing rocks at the cloud. I hate this. It reminds me of hip hop. It's like, I can sit here. Hold on one second. I can sit here again and say, Nas and Rakim and all the OG dudes is the best rappers and lyrical miracle. But if the industry is going Lil Baby, if the industry is going whoever the hot new rapper is, the kids are going to win. There is more of them than there are of you. That's where people got to let their emotionality out of gaming and look at trends. And that's what a lot of these businesses and corporations do. They look at, they got the engagement numbers. They seeing, if they on mobile, they seeing where they at. So the people that's talking on Twitter, y'all not the majority. Y'all are an echo chamber, fam, and you could be evaporated easily. So just pay attention to where things is going so you don't get caught out. Continue.
The majority. I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel that. I feel that.
I think that's exactly the problem that Sony finds itself facing right now, is because they succeeded so much over the last decade plus in this old model that they were able to rest on their laurels for a bit.
Right.
And they rested on their laurels a bit too long. And as Xbox was kind of, floundering last generation, Phil Spencer had to convince Microsoft that there was a path forward.
Right.
And that path forward was preparing for a future that Sony is not quite ready for.
Yeah.
And so Sony right now, they're trying to slow things down so that when this future comes, that they're getting ready for, and they're gonna be ready for, and they're gonna succeed because they're a fantastic company.
That's why you can't.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that's why you can't say Phil isn't one of the best leaders in gaming industry, because he literally went into a room and said, "Look, not only do I don't think you should sell this brand, here's why I think we should keep it, and I'm gonna need like $70 billion to do it."
And that's the genius of Phil. And again, it's about adaptability, right? You have to be ready to shift if the industry goes in a direction. And if you're too late, bro, you could be evaporated. I've seen it. I'm sorry, so I'm just about to get.
No, I would have loved to have been in the room when Shaun Layden and Jim Ryan first heard about Game Pass. I would have loved to have seen that reaction, because it is that, oh no, we're late.
Yeah.
Oh no, we have to pivot.
I can tell you right now that they're concerned, because they restructured PlayStation Now for a reason. It wasn't because if they weren't concerned about the future, they would have just got rid of it.
And
like,
again,
they restructured it for a reason.
And they're the first place team, so to speak, right? So why is the first place team mimicking the subscription services of quote unquote the last one? Because they do see, yo, if the industry shifts this way, we got to, PS Now, this is not profitable. Let's combine this. Let's do this with PlayStation Plus. Let's make this service the most attractive. Let's go. They're making and that was my argument against King, because King doesn't believe there's going to be a next console, right? My thing is, PS6. I feel so too. My feeling is the reason why Sony to me is still going to be okay overall for the most part is, unlike the PS3, they are showing adaptability, even though they may not be first, like how Microsoft is, and well prepared with the Azure and the backbone. They're like, wait a minute, no, we're gonna have some subscriptions ourselves. We're gonna do a service that's gonna be comparable.
It may be begrudging, but
they're doing it. And they're like, yo, Microsoft, you know what? We got these lenses or whatever. You got that Azure. We're gonna change our backbone. You don't partner with them and adapt if you are not ready, if you're not thinking that it could go that way. That's what I'm saying. So people are not listening to Twitter and emotionality. They're looking at business and common sense. Period.
The only argument you could probably give to a good degree is Sony has the ability to hit that switch, but do they have the ability to keep up with the content? That is an argument. But,
that's a real argument, right? It's like, it is that whole thing, like take them into deep water and drown them, because they could technically do what you're doing, just not to the extent that Microsoft is doing it, and they never will be able to. They just never will be able to.
The thing is, too, so I mean, look at.
That's why they're trying to stop this Activision deal happening, because it's
to slow it down. I mean,
it's going to make the guns bigger.
Look, Bungie, the Bungie acquisition, 10 live service games. It's happening right before your eye. They understand that, yo, we got to have these joints on our pocket in case it goes there. And if we buy ourselves enough time, we'll be ready for this transition and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to watch as far as the trends. But that's all I got. Unless anybody else got anything else on this? We good? All right. So
one second real quick. I do feel like one of the reasons Sony's trying to stop this is it's money reasons too, but it's just like, look, like right now they coming up with the RPG. Microsoft got that RPG. So we let them get that Call of Duty, they're gonna have a ray gun. Like, can we really fight? No, we could put up a wall to stop to the RPG, but that ray gun, I don't know. Like, so let's stop them from getting the ray gun. Let's do what we can.
And that money that they get on that back end from Call of Duty being on that platform.
And that's really all it is. That is a whole lot of money for doing nothing. A lot of money
just to have it on your platform. I get it. Listen, that's what I said. Sony's going to do what's best for their shareholders and fight to the end. I get it. I respect it. And it's going to be up to the CMA to see how this thing plays out. But yeah, That's what I
And
got.
just
What's up?
just to add to like the reluctance on Sony's end to like adapt for, well, I mean, they are adapting slowly, but there's still some reluctance. I think there was like a article that came out that they did not want to do any like any kind of like day one service, or sorry, like any day one games in their service. And I don't think that article was even meaning towards their first party, because I can believe that. That's understandable. Like obviously they put a lot more money into their games. We can kind of see that. But I think it was like, I don't know who said it. I think it's like Shuhei in that article. Like he literally said something to the effect of like, we want to have PlayStation Plus as a service that can be used to rediscover titles
instead of bring life to older games.
Yeah, and it's just like, you just released Stray though, so what was that? So it's kind of, and they did like Shadow Warrior and Stray, like obviously smaller titles, but it's like there's still some reluctance there. I would really love to see them just do more stuff like Xbox does. Yeah, and we got Persona 5, Gunfire Reborn, might even get freaking Sonic, who knows? But it's like it's just, be a little more aggressive on that, even if it's not going to break your bank. It's really not.
Yeah, I think they will be. I think they will be. They won't be with their first party stuff, obviously, because they've already said that they have sort of the game plan for that, right? They want to release the game on console, maybe a minimum a year later it comes to PC, right? And they just extend the conversation around the game, and then and for them, maybe a couple years after that, then it comes to the service, and that's how they view the lifetime, the sort of the life cycle of each of their first party stuff. Second party and the third party stuff, I think they will. I think they will start dropping more bags for certain things. I would not be surprised. The only one that really surprised me this past year was Sifu. I didn't really see how Sifu wasn't in PS Plus when Stray was. But again, Sifu did well on its own.
And I've said it before. I feel at this day and age, like the day of live service exclusive kind of is counterproductive now. And I think that not only we'll see live service day and date, I wouldn't be surprised if you start to see it, multi-platform with PC as well. Day and date, not this just, it's going to be locked only in the PlayStation ecosystem.
Yeah. And then the Bungie stuff you can expect to be a fight to put that on Xbox, right?
I think there's an argument, because we've seen throughout gaming history where studios start making really good money off games as a service, and they start abandoning the structure that they were built on.
Yeah, especially when them checks come in.
I'm sure a lot of PlayStation people are nervous because if a couple of these games as a service takes off, they might start focusing more on these games as a service and start pulling back a little bit on the single player stuff.
I will say this too, and I don't want to like scare people up, but I do feel that if, like, say for example, Factions, right? That's one of the ones that is waiting to come for them. I do feel like if a lot of these joints, if the industry is going that way, right? And I know it's scary, people don't want to hear this talk, but if the industry is going that way, and let's just say, because I've heard things internally for games that I don't care about, that are live service or whatever, and you see how much money they make, and then they be like, yo, Cog, but because of that, this helped fund all these other projects that ain't really make that money. And that them single player games the child or whatever the child raving about, we wouldn't have had the bread. But based on said titles, you know what I mean? That's the thing you got to look at. And you got to look at the overall benefit for gaming. So if, let's say the game that you love, right? And you like, yo, that's that banger. That's that single player, that just one energy. That's fire. I want these games and that games only. But the residuals come back and you in the red. Or you just barely broke even, right?
I'll give you an example.
Go ahead. Talk it.
Without the microtransactions that they, I think it's EA makes off of all their sports stuff, you never would have seen It Takes Two and win Game of the Year because that's literally what they funded that game.
I talk to these devs. It's stuff that blew me away, and I was like, really? That game made that much money? That stuff that I don't like made that much?
Yeah, man.
And it's just like, like this kept the lights on, and then it allowed us to do that thing that you like. And I'm like, wow, okay, it's interesting.
Yeah. If you take what Shaun Layden said as he was leaving PlayStation, this is becoming unsustainable. Games are too big. Games cost way too much money. if you take that to heart and you know that to be true, then all of this makes 100% sense. Them having 10 games that are service-based games makes all the sense in the world. Because all they need is one to hit.
That's one.
All they need is
all
one.
They need
to
is
hit.
one. That's what people gotta understand. Facts. Talk it.
All they need is one to hit, and they're setting all the stuff that you love, that you think might be going away. I understand Addict's point because it's true. I just don't. I think PlayStation, obviously, they hold their single player stuff in high regard, right?
Factual.
But I just don't think James Ryan wants to say that. It wants to say the fact that, hey, we need to figure out these other revenue streams in order to continue to put out games of that ilk and that quality that you expect from us. Otherwise, they're going to be shorter. They're going to have shorter dev cycles. They're not going to be as polished as what you've seen up until date because it costs way too much money.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't make single player games. I'm saying that a couple of these pop off and do really good. They're okay. The people, we're not investing anymore into other studios that make this type of content. Like the studios we have now, that's all they're doing. Like we're not investing outside of that concept. So like the games that you're seeing now from the studios you're seeing now, that's as far as it goes. They're like, the rest of our bags is going on what's actually bringing in money.
I mean, we already see the shift though, right? I mean, to your point, people was mad that Days Gone 2, it was a no Days Gone 2. And then apparently that went over to, was it Last of Us remake?
Right.
And people were like, yo, why we need Last of Us remake, right? Oh, this is, you know, then the MPDs came out.
That's another thing that we have to look at what they're doing with their strategy. Cross media stuff,
cross media, movies,
everything,
it's going outside.
Because a lot of people were like, "Wait a minute, you didn't want to fund, whatchamacallit, the motorcycle game again? What is it called? You didn't want to fund Days Gone 2, but you're going to make a show out of it. Yeah, because if we take all of these properties and figure out different ways that can make us money, as a prime example, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic games have not been it for a while, right? Yeah. The hope is that Frontiers changes that. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Sonic is as big as it is because the movies did well. And quite frankly, the cartoons, the comics, all that stuff, and the other merchandising has continued to do well despite the place where he was born,
right? And
think
about the audience outside of gaming that is big, that's huge, who don't know who Sonic is, and like, yo, what's that? Oh, by the way, we got this game now for that character you just learned about.
You could go
play right now, and now you got a whole new audience that wasn't a console gaming, that wasn't anything, that's now into the ecosystem, spending money and buying your product.
Look at The Witcher, look at Cyberpunk.
Talk about it.
So many
this is where the industry is going. Like wake up. Wake up. Y'all can fight. Y'all can, bro, this is the death. This where it's going. So either go get out the game or get, like King say, lay down and stay down. This is what it is.
And the market, you can either get out of the game or you can ask for a bag like me, Joe.
All right, Addict ready to eat. You ready to eat.
You're ready. Yeah, so that's it. End of the day, the market's going to always speak.
Yes.
And if the market doesn't want something, it'll tell you. And if it does, it'll tell you.
Factual. No doubt. Well said. Well said. You want me to get the poll while you creep up the super chats?
Yeah, just a couple. I'll read the super chats real quick. We got Nova 30M3, $2 super chat member for 6 months. Building my patio, listening to the Lord. Salute. Shout out to you, sir.
Look at that patio. You already know Nova. Nova's bad funny on Twitter. He be having salute them.
We got the Rubber Knob member for 1 year, $20 super chat. Morning, Lords. You may have already spoken about this. I have a theory. What if Sony's prevention of developers using features on the Xbox consoles that aren't on the PS5 is what is actually holding back Little Man? That's so funny.
They going in with this these theories. I've got no comment on that one.
The tinfoil hat is on, bro.
I like how you got people calling it Little Man all the
time.
Little
Man. By the way, we started that. Shout out to my man King. My man started. Whenever y'all hear Little Man, y'all give it up the ILP King David. Y'all already know what it is. Trendsetter. No doubt.
Then we got Slowbo Backslap member for 29 months. Thank you, sir. God, here we Warframe is greater than The Division, which is greater than First Descent, which is greater than Outriders, which is doubly greater than Anthem, which is triply greater than Destiny.
He always gotta have
Afternoon
this. Why is Destiny on your mind, sir?
I kind of agree with him. Sorry.
Listen, you're the de facto Warframe article, man, so I gotta be nice to you.
Yeah, just a little bit.
No doubt, no doubt. Salute to Slim over here, Messi. No doubt. Anyway, latest poll going up with the latest rumors regarding many developers frustrated with the Series S hardware requirements. How do you feel Xbox should address the issue? He said, Slomo said that was for you, Flame. Y'all messy, man. Y'all be hating on Destiny. Damn.
Love you, sir.
Listen, man, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't come.
Tell Paris to unblock me.
Oh, damn. Anyway, the choices are A, listen to the devs. Drop Series S support at some point in the generation to focus on Series X only titles. B, educate the devs. Multi-config support has existed for years. Xbox should assist these devs and point to devs who've had tremendous success on S development. Or C, I don't care. Y'all need to speak to these third-party devs who are performing sorcery on these Switch ports. Shout out to all the people in the realm who has been rocking out on IOP. Yo, send King some love. He will be back. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad y'all rock with the other dudes podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
y'all for staying and rocking. It was good to see y'all up in there. Had a lot of fun. And of course, I would be remiss if we do not celebrate the amazing writers of LordsOfGaming.net. I am super proud of the team. We're trying to do more of this. Get y'all on, get your voices heard, and y'all out here killing the game. So let's start with the editor, one of the top new assistant editors in the game, Lord Flame. Where can find you? What you got going on, sir?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at FlameLogNet. Man, these last few weeks have just been nuts with the whole move.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. You've been moving.
It's been a nice little adjustment. I got chased off by a bunch of horses after writing a PlayStation articles.
Yeah, be careful.
It's a crazy time.
You know what's funny? You get killed for an opinion piece. It's an opinion piece. Nah, son. What's going on with your opinion, fam?
Like I said, they filled up my cup. Anyways, and if anyone wants to play Warframe anytime, I'm always up for it. I'm living Ignis on Xbox, and I'm gonna make the announcement here because I haven't written the article yet because I'm a dunce. On Warframe, we actually do have an official Warframe clan on Xbox now, and with the news of crossplay with Warframe coming, slowly over time, it's now PC and Xbox can play together. They can't do a lot of other different things, but in the future, eventually, PlayStation Switch will be fully crossplay with support for clans and all that kind of stuff. So if anybody wants to hit me up, just
wait. Warframe was developed on Switch. Wow, they ain't hold the generation. I'm just.
No, it was the Series S.
Albatross.
It's not.
It's the Series S cog. That's the only one that's on the
Wow, that's just sorcery right there. But anyway, continue. No doubt. Salute to you, killing it with the Warframe articles and again the editorial. You're an asset to the company, man. Love what you're doing, brother. Keep up the good work. Stay off the slander. I'm gonna watch you.
Appreciate you bringing me on. I'm kind of sad I missed King, but that's probably
we all miss King. We all miss King today, no doubt. And of course, our very old Lord Steve. Breaking the internet with the open letter to the CMA, and then also shout out to your tremendous work on unique article with Kingdom Come Deliverance. That solves one of his game break. He broke the internet for us, with one of his interviews with Kingdom Come Deliverance some time ago for IOP, and to see you break it again, it's been tremendous. In the short time you've been here, you've done tremendous work, well articulated, and you get a lot of rave reviews, sir. Keep up the tremendous work. Where can the people find you? What do you have going on?
Yeah, y'all, you can find me at Twitter at SCGPerry. I love chatting with folks about games. It's I spend too much time on that app. So, y'all can follow me. We can chat and just have a good time and chop it up a little bit. You can also find me on Xbox at Crossborn423 is my gamer tag. I'm going to pop that up in my Twitter profile description as well because it's spelled a little weird. But I love to play games. I'm going to hop into Warhammer 40k Darktide next month when that pops off.
Okay.
And So if y'all, I know I think that's just going to be on PC at that time, but hey, if anybody wants to hop in on that with me, we'd have a good time together.
No doubt, man. Salute to you. Keep up the fantastic work. Scrapping month gonna be crazy next month, but anyway, it's gonna be a wild one.
Heavy debate.
Heavy debate. You already know. And of course, the man who needs his food and will accept any bag from any company to be bought off, paid 10 pieces of silver. Lord Attic, where can the 5 people find you?
Well, I just ate some food that Microsoft sent me directly. So,
Don't be doing no.
iCloud is fantastic. xCloud is great.
The opinions of Lord Attic do not reflect.
He said iCloud.
iCloud. You don't even know it.
Look, man, they weren't very specific how I had to show.
Any cloud service is fine.
Appreciate we're coming through. Definitely, you guys hit that like button, man.
Yeah, hit that like,
you hit that like button. We got
yourself a valari.
430 people in here. Get you a pillow. Hit that like button.
Man.
Yeah, sit down. Eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, we good out here, man. We good out here. We need 12 more for me to review that Rabbids game.
Let's do it.
Let's get those 12 likes.
Get those 12 likes.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
just in the show. Just in the show.
Do it, y'all. Write another PlayStation article if you want me to.
That's my topic. Go.
All right, no doubt. Lord Soft holding it down. Where can the 5 people find you? What you got going on?
You find me on Twitter. Let's go, Carl.
No. Let's go. Let's get them 12 likes.
Get them 12 likes.
Yeah, you could. First of all, a big shout out to LOGNET in the building, Lord Steve and Lord Flame. You guys, in a time where all these other websites are folding and obviously nobody gets paid at LOGNET. It's all passion and love, and you guys do such an amazing job. I'm so proud of where that site has gone. Yeah. From where it began, like Dizzy is smiling down on what's going on. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. That's amazing work. And for me, you know me. You know what I'm back to work. You know what I'm gonna do. There's no need to say, but hopefully I will get in some Gotham Knights this week and some Plague Tales. I'll be able to speak a little bit on that next week. And we're getting closer to that God of War. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And that giveaway coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
Get that rag to rock.
I will be doing the draws next week, and unfortunately, Saul took forever to do the outro, so we have above 350 now.
Yeah. Yes, baby.
So what do you got to do? He got to do the Mario Rabbids?
I will be getting you that code this afternoon, sir.
Iron Bank has approved. Review coming up. Lord's review. Attic and them Rabbids. Let's go.
Exactly.
No doubt. And so that's been pretty much it. So
that's it. I'm done.
No
Thank
doubt.
you.
You already know. Again, salute everybody. When I pulled up in Ireland and showed love. Shout out to my man Craig that pulled up. That was lit. And just the whole team and stuff like that. Anybody who I didn't get a chance to link up with, I apologize. It was just crazy when I was out there. But it's good to be back. Just my time zone or body clock is going to take a little while to get adjusted. Send King some love, even though he hates when I send that. Send King some love. We miss him. But it's good to see y'all here still rocking with the other lords. You know what I'm saying?
Them other dudes. Yeah, we appreciate that.
We appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? We got more stuff cooking. It's great guests, some more surprises. We got some shows coming up, some things cooking, and yeah, appreciate it. It's good to be back. And that's pretty much
buy pillows.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Valari, hit that Valari.
Hit that
up.
link at the top of the screen.
Tape measure.
We get 10 pillows before the end of end of the month. We will be doing a live show next month sometime.
Yes, no doubt. And again, if you support the pillow movement, gaming support, get your posture right, get everything right.
Pillow.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yo, you stupid. Anyway, we gotta go. We will catch up to y'all. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. Peace.
Have a great week.
We back. We forgot super chat. We back.
We didn't forget. They came in hot.
They came in hot.
By choice.
Got it in just in time.
Came in by choice. $2 super chat. Great show, everyone. Thank you.
No doubt.
Thank you, sir.
Salute. That was the last one?
Yes.
I don't know what you want.
All right, we good? All right, we out.
Peace.
I gotta eat. Peace.
Yeah.
Bye.